Chapter 286. How did you do it? Roar. When Sun Lei's fused spiritual beast made a move, a high-pitched dragon roar resounded. The double-headed blood dragon king, which was over 3,000 meters long, appeared on Yi Qinfeng's body and roared toward the sky. When Yi Qinfeng fused with the double-headed blood dragon king, Yi Qinfeng's strength rose steadily, and he soon broke through to the peak of Class 6 Mystic Beast Ancestor. Double-headed blood dragon, you actually have such a powerful spiritual beast. Seeing Yi Qinfeng's spiritual beast, Sun Lei revealed a trace of surprise. However, his attack did not slow down. A top-grade, Earth-rank heavy axe made of crystal appeared in his hand. Earth-splitting axe. A shocking axe light cut through the void and chopped towards Yi Qinfeng at a speed faster than light. 8. Slaughter Azura Art. Sun Lei's threat was too great. After being attacked by the earth-splitting axe, Yi Qinfeng felt a strong threat of death. He didn't dare to be careless and continuously used powerful trump cards to increase his attack power to meet Sun Lei's attack head-on. 2 killing halos appeared behind him. His sword aura was perfect. 250,000 pounds of strength were all poured into the gigantic Fault heavenly sword. An eternal night sword light that stole all the light shot into the sky. It carried a shocking sword might as it bombarded the earth-shattering axe light. Rumble. The 2 soul skills clashed together, creating 1,000 ripples. Terrifying thunderous roars could be heard as a destructive storm swept through the heavens and earth, causing cracks to appear on the ground. The pool beside the Heart Pond residence started to churn violently. Sensing the danger, the Tan Heart residence activated its restrictions in time. However, the destructive power produced by the collision of the 2 soul skills was too terrifying, and the restrictions protecting the Tan Heart residence were almost shattered. Brat, I'll spare your life today, but I'll definitely kill you in the future. Although Sun Lei's strength was terrifying, he didn't dare to ignore the rules of the Tower of Slaughter. After failing to kill Yi Qinfeng, he didn't dare to stay for long. After leaving behind a ruthless sentence, his light red soul wings flapped violently, creating gusts of wind as he flew away at an extremely fast speed. Qinfeng, are you all right? Yu Nikhang, who was hiding far away, saw that Yi Qinfeng's aura was in chaos, and his right hand was bleeding profusely. Her heart tightened, and she quickly ran over and asked anxiously, "I'm fine." Yi Qinfeng took a deep breath and forcefully suppressed the surging blood energy in his body. He said in a low voice, "Let's go. We'll slaughter our way to the outer city and find the Yong Cho to buy an alchemy furnace to refine pills." After experiencing Lei Sen's power, Yi Qinfeng felt that he had to turn into a beast soul to have a fighting chance. But if he revealed his beast soul form in front of everyone, he would be in even more danger. Perhaps even King of Killers would be alerted and come after him. Hence, if he wanted to extricate himself from the dangerous situation, he could only refine the 3-aperture heavenly pill. Once he refined the 3 orifices heavenly pill, Yi Qinfeng was completely confident that he could borrow the powerful medicinal strength of the 3 orifices heavenly pill to break through to the 3rd level of the mystic beast ancestor realm. At that time, he would be able to deal with the danger brought by the high bounty. Qinfeng, do you have a way to buy an alchemy furnace? Yu Nikhang asked softly as she followed Yi Qinfeng out of the massacre pagoda. I don't have absolute confidence. Let's wait until we meet that Yong Cho. Soon, Yi Qinfeng and Yu Nikhang arrived at the outer city of the massacre pagoda. After asking around, they found out where Yong Cho lived. Array patterns. This place where Yong Cho lives is actually filled with array patterns. Yi Qinfeng and Yu Nikhang arrived at Yong Cho's inconspicuous courtyard by the seaside. Yi Qinfeng's sharp senses detected a powerful array pattern power in the courtyard. Nikhang, wait for me outside. I'll go in and meet him myself. Sensing that the courtyard was filled with mysteries, Yi Chen-feng didn't let Yu Nik-hang take the risk. He walked into the courtyard alone. Stepping into the courtyard, the scene in front of Yi Chen-feng immediately changed. A huge iron-jawed divine crocodile that was emitting death aura suddenly appeared. It opened its bloody mouth and bit towards his head. Illusion! As the power of the God-Eater brain kept increasing, Yi Chen-feng's attainment in array patterns was getting deeper. He could see that the iron-jawed divine crocodile was just an illusion formed by array patterns. It didn't have any attacking power. However, if he was scared and attacked blindly, he might trigger other array patterns and form a real attack. God-Eater brain, break array pattern. A powerful restriction-breaking force was deduced in his deep eyes and shot towards the iron-jaw divine crocodile that was roaring and biting towards him. In the next moment, the ferocious iron-jawed divine crocodile's body turned into dense water ripples and dissipated with the wind. Everything returned to normal. Eternal vengeance. I have no ill intentions this time. I just want to make a deal with you. Please show yourself. Yi Chen-feng stood at the entrance of the courtyard and spoke in a deep voice. I don't want to see anyone and have no interest in making a deal with you. You can go back now. A hoarse voice rang out in the courtyard. Before the deal is made, I will not leave. Yi Chen-feng stood proudly and said stubbornly. With the God-Eater brain's quick deduction, he walked into the courtyard that was filled with array patterns. You're courting death. In the stone house without any light in the courtyard, Eternal Vengeance, who was wearing a black robe and shrouded in darkness, was instantly enraged when he saw Yi Chen-feng insist on barging into the courtyard. He quickly manipulated the array patterns in the courtyard and formed a real attack. Rumble. A large number of array patterns turned into heavenly lightning that filled the sky and roared in midair. They carried a shocking destructive force and bombarded Yi Chen-feng. Green spiritual fire, purple spiritual thunder, ancient cold mystic ice defend. Facing the concentrated attack of heavenly lightning, Yi Chen-feng immediately controlled the 3 spiritual objects to surge out of his body and gather above his head to block the attacks of the heavenly lightning. Spiritual fire, spiritual thunder, spiritual water. How did you do it? Eternal Vengeance, who was shrouded in darkness, saw the 3 spiritual objects surge out of Yi Chen-feng's body and quickly gather. His eyes were filled with shock. He had never seen someone who could subdue 3 spiritual objects at the same time. What was even more terrifying was that Yi Chen-feng could make the 3 spiritual objects fuse together without exploding. God-Eater brain, insight. While Eternal Vengeance was shocked, Yi Chen-feng's eyes once again shot out a large amount of restriction-breaking force into the array patterns and quickly deduced the weak points of the array patterns. Perfect sword presence, break. Yi Chen-feng pointed out with his finger. The perfect sword presence surged out and turned into a finger sword that spun at high speed and shot towards a certain spot in the array patterns at an astonishing speed. Facing the finger sword attack of the perfect sword presence, the array patterns that filled the sky with heavenly lightning were distorted, and a large amount of heavenly lightning exploded in midair. Buzz, buzz, buzz. After distorting the array patterns with one finger, the perfect sword presence erupted continuously and turned into more than 10 sword lights that attacked the weak points of the array patterns deduced by the God-Eater brain. In an instant, a large amount of distorted space appeared in the array patterns and crushed the heavenly lightning that attacked Yi Chen-feng. The array patterns in the courtyard became extremely fragile. Instant kill sword. Seizing this opportunity, the titanic fault heaven sword flew out of the universe ring. The perfect sword presence revolved around the sword tip. The intertwining sword light was shocking and unstoppable as it pierced forward. Chi! The sound of cloth tearing echoed. Yi Chen-feng executed the instant kill sword and directly tore apart the array patterns, appearing outside the stone house in the courtyard. You, how did you do it? Seeing the array patterns that he had spent a lot of effort to set up being destroyed by Yi Chen-feng's sword, Eternal Vengeance's heart trembled and set off a huge wave as he exclaimed in disbelief. Mobile reading website, book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this reading record. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 287. True Fire Furnace. Now are you willing to see me? Yi Qinfeng's powerful soul locked onto Yong Cho in the stone house as he spoke in a deep voice. Your Excellency's attainments in formation patterns are indeed beyond my expectations, but I still don't want to make a deal with you. Please leave. Yong Cho suppressed the shock in his heart and said in a hoarse voice, but his tone was much more polite. I'm sorry, but you have a treasure that is extremely important to me. If I can't get it, I won't leave. Yi Qinfeng's current situation was not good. In order to increase his strength as soon as possible, he had to obtain Yong Chao's inherited alchemy furnace. You're here for my alchemy furnace, right? Hearing Yi Qinfeng's resolute tone, Yong Cho, who was in the stone house, was silent for a minute before asking. That's right, I'm here precisely for the alchemy furnace, but I'm not asking for it, I'm merely borrowing it, Yi Qinfeng said, and I'm confident that the price I offer will satisfy you. I am a person who is about to die. My desire for external objects is no longer strong. As for that alchemy furnace, it is my life's work. Even if you have a heaven artifact, I will not lend it to you. Yong Cho said hoarsely, his voice filled with a deathly stillness. What if I can help you take revenge? Yi Qinfeng pondered for a moment and said, Buzz. Just as Yi Qinfeng finished speaking, Eternal Chao's aura became chaotic. Clearly, Yi Qinfeng's words had revealed the secret in his heart, disturbing his already dead heart. Who are you? Yong Chao's words became sharp, and his voice revealed sternness and vigilance. Looks like I guessed right. You're someone with a story. Otherwise, most people wouldn't give you such a weird name. Hearing the change in Yong Chao's voice, Yi Qinfeng knew that his guess was correct. He slowly said, If I agree to avenge you, would you be willing to lend me your alchemy furnace? You're right. I do have a blood feud on my shoulders, but you're too weak. You can't help me take revenge, Yong Cho said after a minute of silence. If your enemy isn't a level 2 Beast King, I can immediately avenge you. If your enemy is a level 2 Beast King or above, I'll avenge you within 10 years, Yi Qinfeng promised. Don't you think you're a bit too arrogant? You think you can kill an absolute king with your level 2 profound beast ancestor cultivation? Yong Cho said without any trace of politeness. Realm doesn't represent strength, does it? With that, a high-pitched dragon roar resounded. The two-headed blood dragon king, whose body was over 3,000 meters long, was covered in scales that were over 1 meter wide, and had 2 large and sinister dragon heads, appeared on Yi Qinfeng's body. Dragon, your spiritual beast is actually a dragon. Like the others, Yong Cho was shocked to see Yi Qinfeng's spiritual beast, the two-headed blood dragon king. Although I'm only a level 2 profound beast ancestor, I have the strength to kill an absolute king. If you don't believe me, you can go to the 2nd floor of the Slaughter Tower and ask around. A few days ago, I just killed an absolute king of the Wu family. With that, Yi Qinfeng took out the identity token he had obtained from killing the Wu family elder and threw it through the window into the dark stone house. The door isn't closed. Come in. Yong Cho glanced at the Wu family elder's identity token lying on the cold ground. After 3 breaths of silence, he lit up the dark stone house and said in a hoarse voice. Stepping in, Yi Qinfeng saw Yong Cho sitting cross-legged on a stone bed. He was wearing a black robe and had a skinny body, looking like a skeleton. When he saw Yong Chao's face, his expression changed slightly, revealing a look of shock. Yong Chao's face was completely disfigured. His blurry facial features were almost glued together, and it was impossible to distinguish his nose and mouth. More importantly, he saw deathly stillness and despair in Eternal Vengeance's remaining eyes. There was not a trace of life in his body, as if he was a walking corpse. "Tell me who your enemy is, and I'll avenge you." Yi Qinfeng quickly regained his composure and looked calmly at Yong Chao's disfigured face. "Perhaps I'm the only one who can avenge you. If you miss this opportunity, I'm afraid you'll regret it for the rest of your life." "Gotcha!" As soon as Yi Qinfeng finished speaking, the stone bed under Yong Chao suddenly shattered. An energy that made Yi Qinfeng feel suffocated gushed out and shot toward Yi Qinfeng at an extremely fast speed. 8-shot Azura technique, Slaughter Halo. Facing the sudden attack, Yi Qinfeng did not panic. 2 Slaughter Halos appeared behind him, increasing his attacking power by 2 folds. Following that, his sword aura was perfected. 350,000 gene of strength was poured into the gigantic Fault Heavenly Sword, activating the 81 attacking runes on the sword and maximizing the attacking power of the sword. Slaughter Fourth Style Eternal Night. An eternal night sword light that stole the light from the stone room slashed out, drawing a deep sword scar in the dark night and hacking at the terrifying energy at close range. Rumble. A powerful explosion rang out in the stone room. The terrifying energy was like a tsunami that spread out in all directions, instantly causing the only stone room in the courtyard to collapse. The runes above the courtyard trembled violently. Tap, tap, tap. Facing the thunderous attack from the stone bed head-on, Yi Qinfeng was pushed back by the powerful aftershock. The blood in his body roiled violently, and the arm that was holding the gigantic Fault Heavenly Sword felt numb. "You really do have the strength to fight against a peerless king." Earlier, when Yong Chou detonated the stone bed, he did not want to kill Yi Qinfeng. Instead, he wanted to test Yi Qinfeng's strength. When Yong Chou saw that Yi Qinfeng, a second-grade profound beast ancestor, was able to block the power of the seal under the stone bed, he believed in Yi Qinfeng's strength. "Now, can you tell me who your enemy is?" Yi Qinfeng took a deep breath and suppressed the boiling blood in his body as he spoke in a low voice. "All right, I'll make a bet before I die." Yong Chou took a deep breath and said, "My enemy is the king of the 5th floor of the Slaughter Tower, blood-slaughtering Sword King. His strength is at the peak of the 1st level, and he's only a step away from the 2nd level. If you can help me kill him, I'll give you the true fire furnace. I'll remember your enemy. I'll bring his head to you in 3 months at the latest." Yi Qinfeng promised, as long as he refined the 3-aperture heavenly pellet and reached the 4th level. Yi Qinfeng was confident that he could kill a peak of the 1st level. 3 months? You're really that confident? Yong Chou said doubtfully. "There's an entire realm difference between the two of you. I'll naturally do what I say, but the prerequisite is that you have to lend me the true fire furnace. I need it to refine pills and increase my strength." Yi Qinfeng nodded. "All right, I'll trust you this time." Yong Chou looked deeply at Yi Qinfeng for a full minute. Seeing that his eyes were incomparably clear, he clenched his teeth and decided to take a gamble. He took out a palm-sized, fiery red true fire furnace with Tao Tai runes engraved on its surface. "I'll lend you this true fire furnace for 3 months. If you can't keep your promise and don't return it within 3 months, I'll detonate the restrictions on it and destroy it." Yong Chou gently caressed the true fire furnace as if he was caressing his lover. He reluctantly handed it over to Yi Qinfeng and solemnly warned, "I'll bring the blood-slaughtering Sword King's head to you within 3 months." Yi Qinfeng promised. With that, Yi Qinfeng put the true fire furnace into his spatial pouch and turned to leave. Mobile reading site, book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this reading. You'll see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 288. 3-Orifice Heaven Pill. How was it, Qingfeng? Did you get the alchemy furnace from that person? Seeing Yi Qinfeng, whose clothes were a little messy, walk out of the courtyard, Yu Nishang, who had been waiting outside, immediately went up and asked, "I got it. Let's go back to the inner city." Yi Qinfeng nodded and returned to the inner city with Yu Nikhang. They rented a high-grade cultivation room in the inner city. "Nikhang, stand guard for me. Don't let anyone disturb me. I want to refine a furnace of heaven-rank spirit pills," Yi Qinfeng said solemnly. "Heaven-rank spirit pills." Yu Nikhang was shocked to hear that Yi Qinfeng wanted to refine heaven-rank spirit pills. She knew how difficult it was to refine heaven-rank spirit pills. Even in her family, only one person had the ability to refine heaven-rank spirit pills. Moreover, the success rate was not high. If Yi Qinfeng could refine heaven-rank spirit pills as a rank 2 mystic beast ancestor, it would shock the entire Duhan continent. "Qinfeng, don't worry. I won't let anyone disturb you." Yu Nikhang nodded and promised. Yi Qinfeng took a deep breath and sat cross-legged on the wooden bed. He adjusted his state while controlling the God-Eater brain to simulate the refining process. There weren't many alchemists in the Duhan continent, and high-level alchemists were even rarer. The reason why Yi Qinfeng was so confident in refining a heaven-rank soul elixir was because of the alchemy fragments in God-Eater's brain. He believed that the fragments in the God-Eater brain were far superior to the alchemy inheritances in the Duhan continent. It was enough for him to refine 3-orifice heaven pill. In about a day's time, Yi Qinfeng had gone through the process of concocting pills over 100 times in his mind. When he felt that the time was right, he took out the cloud horse, red leaf Sanyo lotus, 1,000-year sundew grass, 10,000-year fruit, 8-eyed toad's demonic core, sea heart spring, and the fiery red true fire cauldron. He even took out a mouthful of heavenly fate water, just in case. Green spiritual fire concoct pills. The green spiritual fire slowly rose from Yi Qinfeng's palm and enveloped the palm-sized true fire furnace. Instantly, a large amount of red light shone on the surface of the true fire furnace, and the Tao Tai markings became even clearer. Boom! Yi Qinfeng fiercely slapped the true fire furnace. The lid of the true fire furnace flew up, and a large amount of red flames gushed out of the true fire furnace. The temperature of the entire cultivation room rose sharply. Yunji horse, enter. Yi Qinfeng glanced at the 6 spiritual items. First, he threw the main ingredient, the cloud lotus horse, which looked like a small crystal horse, into the true fire furnace. Suddenly, a refreshing medicinal fragrance gushed out from the true fire furnace. The cloud horse that was wrapped in red flames melted, and the impurities in its body were constantly refined by the true fire furnace. Refining impurities was the first step of concocting pills, and it was also the simplest step. However, because Yi Qinfeng was concocting a heaven pill, he could not waste any spiritual energy when refining impurities. Therefore, the difficulty of refining impurities was also very high. Minutes and seconds passed. The cloud lotus horse turned into spirit liquid and sizzled under the true fire furnace's refinement. As the impurities were refined bit by bit, the spirit liquid in the furnace became purer and purer. Finally, it turned into a pigeon egg-sized, milky white spirit liquid that contained powerful medicinal energy. Red-leafed Sanyo lotus. After successfully refining the cloud lotus horse's spirit liquid, Yi Qinfeng threw the red leaf Sanyo lotus into the true fire furnace, where the red flames were rolling, and continued the refinement. The red leaf Sanyo lotus spirit energy was obviously weaker than the cloud lotus horse, and the difficulty of refining it was much lower. However, Yi Qinfeng still did not dare to be careless. He focused his mind and constantly formed complicated hand seals to control the true fire furnace to refine the liquid essence. What an exquisite alchemy technique! What an exquisite flame control! Where did Qinfeng learn alchemy from? He can't really be able to concoct a heaven-rank soul pill, right? Looking at Yi Qinfeng's serious expression, Eunuch Hang couldn't help but be attracted by his serious face. She couldn't help but look forward to it. Eunuch Hang originally thought that she understood Yi Qinfeng very well. However, after seeing his exquisite alchemy technique, Eunuch Hang discovered that Yi Qinfeng was a bottomless pit. No one knew how many secrets he was hiding. Soon, the red-leafed Sangyo lotus turned into a red and black liquid essence. Yi Qinfeng did not hesitate and threw the 1,000-year sundew grass into the true fire furnace. After about a day, Yi Qinfeng successfully refined the cloud lotus horse, red-leafed Sangyo lotus, 1,000-year sundew grass, and wanxiang fruit into liquid essences. After swallowing half a mouthful of the water of heavenly fate, he recovered the soul power he had consumed. Then he threw the 8-eyed toad monster core, which was the most difficult to refine, into the true fire furnace. Suddenly, a violent energy exploded within the true fire furnace. The tyrannical energy was like a wild horse that had broken free of its reins, attacking the true fire furnace. The sound of metal colliding rang out within the true fire furnace. Green spirit fire set the universe. Feeling the true fire furnace tremble more and more violently, Yi Qinfeng increased the intensity of the green spirit fire, forcibly stabilizing the true fire furnace and quickly refining the 8-eyed toad monster core. Fortunately, the true fire furnace had reached the rank of top-quality earth rank, and Yi Qinfeng also had the green spirit fire. Slowly, the violent energy released by the 8-eyed toad monster core weakened and finally calmed down. Phew, finally finished refining. After condensing the 8-eyed toad monster core into liquid essence, Yi Qinfeng let out a long sigh of relief. He poured the sea heart source into the true fire furnace and began the most important and most difficult process of condensing the monster core. It was very difficult for an ordinary alchemist to successfully condense the monster core without dozens of years of alchemy experience. However, Yi Qinfeng, who had fused with the God-Eater brain, had an alchemy heritage and experience that no other alchemist in the entire Duhan continent had. Condense. Yi Qinfeng made dozens of complicated hand seals in succession and merged them into the true fire furnace. He controlled the high concentration of the flames within the true fire furnace and condensed the several balls of liquid essence in the true fire furnace. The scorching flames rolled in the furnace, and the several balls of liquid essence began to slowly fuse with each other. Although there were many problems during the fusion process, and more than 10 times they almost failed at the last minute, fortunately, Yi Qinfeng discovered them in time and resolved them one by one with the help of his alchemy heritage and experience. After about 2 days, 5 bean-sized, round, and smooth embryonic pills appeared in the true fire furnace. They were emitting black, white, and gray colors. Under the refinement of the rising flames, they spun and released an endless amount of medicinal energy. Finally finished condensing the monster core. Just one more step and I'll succeed. The exhausted Yi Qinfeng swallowed all of the water of heavenly secrets into his stomach. Then he continued to make hand seals to control the green spiritual flame to refine pills. Smells so good. Cheng Feng is really going to refine a heaven-level soul Dan. Smelling the fragrance of the monster core wafting out from the true fire furnace, Eunuch Hang, who had witnessed the miracle in the past few days, couldn't help but hold her breath and look at him in silence. She kept cheering for Yi Qinfeng in her heart. Peng! Yi Qinfeng, who was concentrating on concocting pills, suddenly slapped the boiling hot true fire cauldron, opening the cauldron's lid. A burst of flame, accompanied by a strong medicinal fragrance, gushed out from the true fire cauldron. In the next moment, 5 bean-sized, 3-colored pills flew out of the true fire furnace. Waves of spiritual energy spread out in all directions, causing one's mind to be greatly shaken with just a whiff. It's finally done. Yi Qinfeng, whose face was slightly pale and mentally exhausted, narrowed his eyes and grabbed the 5 bean-sized pills that flew into the air. They were only the size of a bean, but they contained extremely terrifying medicinal energy. A faint smile appeared on his face. After spending about 5 days, Yi Qinfeng, who had broken down several times, finally succeeded in refining the 5 priceless 3-aperture heavenly pills. Mobile reading website. Book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this reading record. You can see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 289. Breakthrough. Level 3 Mystic Beast Sect. Qinfeng, did you really succeed? Smelling the thick medicinal fragrance and looking at the 5 bean-sized 3-aperture heavenly pills in Yi Qinfeng's palm, Yu Nikhang felt like she was in a dream. At the age of 21, he possessed strength comparable to a peerless king, and he could also refine heaven-level soul pills. Yu Nikhang had no doubt that as long as Yi Qinfeng did not fall, he would definitely be able to stand at the peak of the Duhan continent. Yi Qinfeng's pale face revealed a faint smile as he nodded and said, "Yes, fortunately I didn't disappoint you. I refined 5 3-orifices, heavenly pills. These 2 3-apertures, heavenly Dan, are for you." Yi Qinfeng generously gave the 2 3-apertures, heavenly Dan, to Yu Nikhang. "Qinfeng, thank you." Yu Nikhang knew the value of the 3-apertures heaven pellet. With these 2 pills, she had no doubt that she could break through to the 6th level of the mystic beast ancestor realm in a short period of time. "Nikhang, aren't you touched?" Looking at Yu Nichang's excited expression, Yi Qinfeng revealed a faint smile and said, "That's right. I'm so excited that I want to give myself to you. I wonder if you'll give me this chance?" Yu Nichang revealed a mesmerizing smile as she spoke in a sweet voice. Yi Qinfeng, who was in a good mood, glanced at Yu Nichang's perky breasts and said jokingly, "Forget about giving yourself to me. My body can't withstand your ravaging." "Qinfeng, is this place nice?" Catching Yi Qinfeng's gaze, Yu Nikhang was not angry. Instead, she revealed an enchanting smile, straightened her plump body, and asked in a flirtatious manner. Looking at the undulating waves of Yu Nikhang, Yi Qinfeng gulped, not knowing how to answer. "Why would I dare to look but not speak? Do you think I didn't see you sneaking glances at my breasts? Hurry up and confess. Do you like them or not? If you coax me, maybe I'll let you touch them in a moment of happiness and take advantage of you." The moon raiment was like a demoness, constantly tempting Yi Qinfeng. "Touch." Yi Qinfeng's eyes widened as he looked at Yu Nichang's majestic peaks again. His heart itched. "Can I touch them first before I praise you? I'm afraid you'll go back on your word." "Yi Qinfeng, I find that you are becoming more and more shameless." "You, Xiu." "Yes," Yu Nikhang said with a frustrated expression, which made Yi Qinfeng burst into laughter. After teasing Yu Nikhang for a while, Yi Qinfeng's tensed mind relaxed after refining pills for a long time. He and Yu Nikhang adjusted their breathing and recovered for a while in the room, preparing to consume the 3-apertures heavenly pellet and break through to the 3rd level profound beast ancestor realm, further increasing their strength. "Sword puppet, protect us." For the sake of caution, Yi Qinfeng summoned the sword puppet and ordered it to protect him, in case he was disturbed when he was breaking through. Everything was ready. Yi Qinfeng and Yu Nikhang sat at the 2 ends of the training room. Yi Qinfeng took out a 3-apertures heavenly pellet that was emitting a strong medicinal fragrance and threw it into his mouth. Immediately, a large amount of medicinal power was released from Yi Qinfeng's mouth. Like a surging tide, it flowed down his throat and poured into the meridians in his body. Soul-devouring tactic, refine. The medicinal power of the 3-apertures heavenly pellet was released quickly. Yi Qinfeng immediately guarded his mind and ran the soul-devouring tactic over and over again to refine the surging medicinal power in his body and improve his strength. Huff! Huff! Affected by the rapid circulation of the soul-devouring incantation, the dense spirit chi in the advanced cultivation room was affected as well. It surged at an extremely fast speed and entered Yi Qinfeng's body, forming a spirit chi vortex above his head. Slowly, Yi Qinfeng's meridians were pushed open by the medicinal power of the three apertures, heavenly pellet, and the rich spirit chi. A tearing pain spread throughout his body, and a large amount of blood seeped out from the pores all over his body. The pain in his body grew stronger and stronger, but Yi Qinfeng, who was in a meditative state, endured it with his unyielding will. He quickly circulated the soul-devouring incantation, devouring the medicinal energy in his body and increasing his strength. After devouring the Wu family elder's spiritual beast, Yi Qinfeng's soul power was almost overflowing. Now that he was refining the three apertures heavenly pellet, his soul power quickly reached the overflowing level, and his spiritual beast, the two-headed blood dragon king, became even stronger. As expected of a heavenly pellet, the medicinal power it contains is too strong. In less than an hour, Yi Qinfeng, who had absorbed 2/3 of the medicinal power of the three apertures heavenly pellet, felt that his soul power was overflowing. The two-headed blood dragon king's soul power had also reached the limit of its realm and could not continue to grow. Level 3 Mystic Beast Ancestor Breakthrough. When the time was right, Yi Qinfeng did not suppress his realm anymore. He allowed the surging soul power in his body to break through the bottleneck and naturally broke through to the level 3 Mystic Beast Ancestor realm. Phew, I finally broke through. The moment he broke through, 2 sharp lights shot out from Yi Qinfeng's deep eyes. His soul power had increased by several times, and his spiritual beast, the two-headed blood dragon king, was even more terrifying. If he fought with Sun Lei again, Yi Qinfeng believed that he would definitely have the strength to fight. However, Yi Qinfeng knew that he still couldn't kill a peerless genius like Sun Lei with his current strength. It would only be possible if he broke through to the level 4 Mystic Beast Ancestor realm. After breaking through, Yi Qinfeng patiently ran the soul-devouring tactic to refine the remaining medicinal power in his body and continue to improve his strength. As the three apertures, heavenly pellets, medicinal power completely merged with Yi Qinfeng's body, his soul power increased by 20%. However, a large amount of pill toxins appeared in his body, causing him to develop a strong resistance. This 3 apertures heavenly pellet has a lot of pill toxins. Sigh, it seems like I have to fight to grind out the pill toxins in my body before I can continue to take the 3 apertures heavenly pellet. Otherwise, it will be a huge waste of its medicinal power. Yi Qinfeng sighed softly in his heart and gave up on refining the second 3 apertures heavenly pellet to improve his strength. He was prepared to wait for Yu Nikhang to wake up from her cultivation and directly head to the 3rd floor of the Tower of Slaughter to fight. Time slowly passed. Yu Nikhang, who was surrounded by demonic qi and enduring the pain, finally refined a 3 apertures heavenly pellet and raised her strength to the peak of the level 5 Mystic Beast Ancestor realm. After refining a 3 apertures heavenly pellet, Yu Nikhang encountered the same situation as Yi Qinfeng. While her strength increased greatly, a large amount of pill toxins appeared in her body. She had no choice but to give up on breaking through to the level 6 Mystic Beast Ancestor realm. Let's go, Nikhang. Let's go to the Tower of Slaughter. Yi Qinfeng's lips curled up slightly and revealed a trace of a wild smile. Don't let those people who are looking for me wait too long. Okay. Yu Nikhang nodded and left the advanced cultivation room with Yi Qinfeng. Through the Tower of Slaughter's transportation array, they directly arrived at the 3rd floor of the Tower of Slaughter and headed directly to the martial arena. When Yi Qinfeng and Yu Nikhang appeared in the martial arena, they immediately attracted the attention of many people. Pairs of cold and ruthless eyes were uniformly cast over and locked onto Yi Qinfeng, who was slowly walking over. Clearly, The high bounty offered by the Wu family had spread throughout the entire Tower of Slaughter. It caused many people to have a strong killing intent towards Yi Qianfeng. They wanted to kill him and use his head to exchange for 100,000 slaughter points. Yi Qianfeng was not afraid of the surrounding pairs of ruthless eyes. He gently leaped up like a large bird and landed on an empty martial arena. He exuded an unparalleled aura and said in a deep voice, "Yi Qianfeng is here. Who wants to fight?" Mobile reading site. Book address. In order to make it easier for you to read next time, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this reading record. Next time you open the bookshelf, you will see it. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 290. I'll take on as many as you come. What an arrogant brat. Looking at the invincible Yi Qianfeng and listening to his arrogant voice, the entire arena was in an uproar. Many martial artists who were confident in their strength were infuriated and were eager to challenge him. "Let me." Suddenly, a chirping sound rang out. A girl in aqua blue martial attire with a curvaceous figure and a pretty face, who was at the peak of the 5th level of the mystic beast ancestor realm, leaped onto the stage first. She held a top-grade earth-tier longsword in her hand and pointed it at Yi Qianfeng. Her eyes were filled with battle intent. Come down quickly. You are not his match." At this time, a tall woman in a dark green military uniform shouted anxiously. Her skin was as white and delicate as milk. Her legs were straight and slender, and her long black hair was gently tied up. She gave off a clean and neat feeling. Cold Moon sword art. The blue-robed woman turned a deaf ear to the green-robed woman's shout. She quickly merged with her spirit beast, and an extremely sharp cold moon sword light streaked across the air, carrying a thick chill as it pierced towards Yi Qianfeng's throat. Frightening soul finger! The blue-robed woman thrust her sword. Yi Qianfeng did not use any weapon. He only extended his index finger and pressed it towards the cold moon sword light. The moment the frightening soul finger touched the cold moon sword light, a force of more than 700,000 Jin erupted, shattering the cold moon sword light and hitting the long sword in the blue-robed woman's hand. Suddenly, a terrifying rebounding force passed through the long sword and into the blue-robed woman's arm, causing her arm to go numb. Her right hand that was gripping the hilt of her sword trembled. Green bamboo shadow. Experiencing the terror of Yi Qianfeng, the blue-robed woman's expression changed slightly. However, she did not retreat due to her pride. Hundreds of green bamboo-like shadows surrounded her body, transforming into sword shadows and enveloping Yi Qianfeng with an incomparably sharp aura. What a mysterious sword art! Yi Qianfeng was full of praises for this picturesque swordsmanship, which had an excellent artistic conception and did not lose its sharpness, as he watched the sword light sweeping towards him like a green bamboo phantom. "Let's see where you can hide this time." Seeing that Yi Qianfeng was about to be engulfed by the green bamboo-like sword shadows, a cold smile appeared on the blue-clothed woman's cold and arrogant face. She was prepared to continue her attack and defeat Yi Qianfeng in one fell swoop. "Your swordsmanship is not bad, but it's a pity that you're too weak. You're unable to unleash its true power." After saying that, Yi Qianfeng suddenly took a step forward. The aura in his body instantly became fierce. 750,000 Jin of strength erupted from his body, causing dense ripples to appear in the air. Cloud-shattering palm. With a palm strike, a terrifying airflow was formed in the air. The cloud-shattering palm strike, which was filled with 750,000 Jin of strength, smashed onto the incoming sword shadow, tearing it apart like a hot knife through butter. Then the palm struck towards the blue-clothed woman, whose expression had changed greatly. How is this possible? The blue-clothed woman could not imagine that her strongest move would be so easily torn apart by Yi Qianfeng. Her expression changed greatly as she hastily dodged. Just as she dodged, Yi Qinfeng pointed his finger in the air. The finger sword, which was condensed from perfect sword force, shot out. It swallowed and spat out a sharp sword light as it pierced towards the blue-clothed woman. "Young Master Yi, please be merciful. Yu Er has no ill intentions." Feeling the terror of Yi Qinfeng's finger, the green-clothed woman was so frightened that her face turned pale. She screamed out in alarm. "Chi!" The blue-clothed woman only saw a white flash in front of her eyes. All the hairs on her body stood up, and several strands of her long black hair drifted down with the wind. The finger sword had cut off several strands of the blue-clothed woman's long hair. Yi Qinfeng did not follow up with another attack. Instead, he looked at her calmly. With his current strength, he only needed one move to kill the blue-clothed woman. The reason why he spared her life was because he did not sense any killing intent from the blue-clothed woman. It was obvious that the blue-clothed woman only attacked to learn from each other and not to kill him. "I'll give you one last chance. If you don't admit defeat, then don't blame me for ruthlessly destroying a flower." Yi Qinfeng looked at the pale-faced, blue-clothed woman with lingering fear and reminded her without a trace of emotion. I admit defeat." Although she was unwilling, when she recalled the feeling of death, the blue-clothed woman became timid. The fighting intent in her body disappeared without a trace. She tightly bit her moist lips and admitted defeat. She then jumped off the stage in humiliation. When the green-clothed woman saw that Yi Qinfeng had let the blue-clothed woman go, she heaved a sigh of relief and said gratefully, "Many thanks to young Master Yi for showing mercy. We will definitely repay this kindness. Who else wants to fight?" Yi Qinfeng nodded at the green-clothed woman and withdrew his gaze from her tall and slender body. He stood on the stage with his hands behind his back and said in an overbearing manner, "I'll do it." As soon as Yi Qinfeng's words fell, 7 deep voices sounded out one after another. Every one of them was confident in their strength and coveted the reward of 100,000 killing points. They were all eager to kill Yi Qinfeng and go to the Wu family to claim the reward. "I didn't expect that I would be so popular. Since all of you want to kill me, then come at me together. I'll take on all of you." Yi Qinfeng exuded a disdainful aura and said domineeringly, "Are you sure you want to accept the challenge of all 7 of us?" One of them, a gray-robed old man with white hair, a deep aura, and a string of prayer beads around his neck, asked maliciously. He was a peak level 6 mystic beast ancestor. I said, "I'll take on all of you." Yi Qinfeng was fearless and said disdainfully, "Everyone, this Yi Qinfeng's strength is not simple. The best choice is for us to kill him together. After we kill him, we'll split the reward equally. How about it?" The gray-robed old man sneered. His eyes flickered with ruthlessness as he suggested this through voice transmission. Okay, the remaining 6 people quickly communicated with each other. In the end, they agreed to work together to kill Yi Qinfeng and split the killing points equally. They jumped onto the stage and stood in a row in front of Yi Qinfeng. Too arrogant. This Yi Qinfeng is too arrogant. He actually dares to challenge Ghostwalker and the others. Doesn't he know that these people are only a step away from becoming a level 1 reverse beast king? What an arrogant fellow. I thought that this Yi Qinfeng was a character, but I didn't expect him to be a hothead. How disappointing. Each floor of the Slaughter Pagoda was relatively independent. In addition, the matter of the Wu family elder being killed had been deliberately concealed by the Wu family. Thus, there weren't many people on the 3rd floor who knew about Yi Qinfeng's true strength. Seeing Yi Qinfeng challenge 7 experts by himself, the entire arena was abuzz with discussion. Almost no one was optimistic about him. "Let's go and kill him quickly." Following the gray-robed old man's roar, the 7 rank 6 mystic beast sect experts attacked at the same time. They fused with their spiritual beasts and used powerful soul skills to attack Yi Qinfeng. 7 powerful soul skills intertwined together, forming a long river of energy. The incomparably fierce energy constantly tore through the air, wanting to destroy Yi Qinfeng. Wrath of divine punishment. Yi Qinfeng didn't dodge the 7 people's soul skills at the same time. Instead, the green spiritual fire, ancient profound ice, and purple spiritual lightning surged out of his body at the same time. It was as if the power of divine punishment met the attack. Rumble. A thunderous sound rang out as the powerful energy collided, producing a destructive force. A terrifying energy storm instantly swept across the entire stage. Space distorted, and the entire arena became as bright as day. A large number of cracks spread across the surface of the stage, and the energy barrier around the stage was almost shattered. PFFF, PFFF, PFFF. Although the gray-robed old man and the other 6 were powerful, their strength was still far from that of a legendary king. When they were attacked by the wrath of divine punishment, which was enough to kill a legendary king, their soul skills were all shattered. Amidst their shocked cries, the energy storm swept over them like a howling gale, destroying their bodies and instantly killing the 7 of them. Mobile reading site. Book address. In order to make it easier for you to read it next time, you can click on the Save button below to record your reading record. You will be able to see it the next time you open your bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 291. Challenge the King, dead, Ghostwalker, and the others are all dead. Killing Ghostwalker and the other 3 in one move. Is this Yi Qinfeng really only a level 3 mystic beast ancestor? After witnessing the scene of Yi Qinfeng shattering the battle arena and instantly killing the gray-robed elder and the other 6 people, everyone present was stunned. They stared at him, flabbergasted, as if they had seen a ghost. Too powerful. Sister, that Yi Qinfeng is clearly only a level 3 mystic beast ancestor. Why is his attack power so terrifying? The blue-clothed woman, who was the first to challenge Yi Qinfeng, was also stunned by the shocking scene before her eyes. She was somewhat glad that she had retreated in the face of difficulties. Otherwise, if she had angered Yi Qinfeng, she was afraid that she would end up like the gray-clothed old man and the others. I've already reminded you that one's cultivation does not represent one's strength. Although this Yi Qinfeng's cultivation is not high, he already possesses the strength to contend with a peerless king-level existence. Otherwise, the Wu family would not have put out a bounty of 100,000 slaughter points for his life. Fortunately, you didn't enrage him. Otherwise, even Big Sister wouldn't have been able to save you. The green-clothed woman took a deep breath. She suppressed the shock in her heart and said with lingering fear, "Who else wants to fight?" After using the wrath of divine punishment and instantly killing the 7 people, Yi Qinfeng circulated the 8 slaughtering Azura art and absorbed the dense death qi in the air, taking away their belongings. Like an unparalleled god of war, he stood proudly on the shattered arena and said domineeringly, "Let's kill them all!" Hearing Yi Qinfeng's loud clamor, no one dared to challenge him. The martial artists who had shown killing intent towards Yi Qinfeng because of the high bounty were so scared that their minds trembled. They didn't dare to look him in the eye and quickly fled the arena. Just as Yi Qinfeng was relying on his absolute strength to intimidate the martial artists on the 3rd floor of the Tower of Slaughter, Eunuch Hang also used the Heavenly Demon Dance art to obtain 2 consecutive victories. At the same time, in a luxurious room in the rear hall of the arena, the Wu family grand elder and the others witnessed the scene of Yi Qinfeng using the wrath of divine punishment and instantly killing the gray-clothed elder and the others through a crystal that was as smooth as a mirror. "Great Elder, we haven't seen each other for a few days. This Yi Qinfeng has become even stronger. If we allow him to continue growing, I'm afraid he will really become a nightmare for our Wu family." The 3rd elder of the Wu family frowned as he spoke. He was dressed in a dark blue robe with cloud patterns. He sensed a strong aura of danger from Yi Qinfeng. Of course I know that he will be a great threat to my Wu clan. However, he is on the 3rd floor of the Tower of Slaughter, while the Patriarch and I are on the 7th floor. We cannot kill him without restraint. Thinking about how the Tower of Massacre strictly forbade killing people above the level, Grand Elder Wu felt a sense of helplessness. Continue to increase the bounty. Whoever can kill him will be rewarded with 300,000 slaughter points by my Wu family. Great Elder Wu helplessly sighed. He could only increase the bounty to deal with Yi Qinfeng. Sir Yi, no one dares to challenge you today. How about you come and fight again tomorrow? Yi Qinfeng straightened his back and stood on the stage, filled with the thick stench of blood. He waited for the time it took for a stick of incense to burn, but no one dared to challenge him. Helpless, a middle-aged woman with a voluptuous figure wearing a fiery red dress and a thick layer of makeup on her face walked out and said politely, "Let me challenge you." "That's good. Once my friend's match is over, we will leave." Yi Qinfeng also knew that the scene of him using the wrath of divine retribution to instantly kill the gray-clothed old man and the others was far too shocking. Today no one would challenge him. He patiently waited outside for Yu Nichang's match. "Sir Yi, do you have time? Us 2 sisters would like to invite you to a meal to thank you for showing mercy to you." As Yi Qinfeng was waiting for Yu Nichang, the green-clothed woman walked over by herself. She looked at his cold face and sweetly smiled as she softly asked, "My time is limited. There's no need for a meal." Yi Qinfeng glanced at the green-clothed woman with a tall figure and fair skin. She had a faint smile on her delicate face. He gently shook his head and tactfully declined. In the perilous Tower of Slaughter, there were many people who wanted his life. Yi Qinfeng didn't want to waste any unnecessary time. He also didn't want to have any connection with the green-clothed woman. "Since it's like this, we won't delay Sir Ye's time. Please keep this jade slip well. It might be useful to you." Hearing Yi Qinfeng's refusal, the green-clothed woman who wanted to befriend him revealed a trace of disappointment. However, she didn't insist. She gave a precious jade slip to Yi Qinfeng and turned to leave. "Jade slip?" Looking at the jade slip handed over by the green-clothed woman, Yi Qinfeng frowned. He hesitated for a moment before releasing his soul force to examine the jade slip. This jade slip records a detailed introduction of the Tower of Slaughter from the 1st to the 6th floor. Yi Qinfeng raised his eyebrows. He didn't expect the jade slip given to him by the green-clothed woman to be so precious. He quickly browsed through it. So the fastest way to pass the Tower of Slaughter is to challenge the king of each floor. As long as you defeat the king of each floor, you can directly obtain all the slaughter points on that floor and have the qualifications to ascend to the next floor. As he browsed through the jade slip, Yi Qinfeng obtained an important piece of information from the jade slip. And this jade slip even has an introduction of the king of each floor. The king of the 3rd floor is called Lion Hua. He's a peak level 6 profound beast sect expert with half a demonic beast bloodline. The king of the 4th floor is Sun Lei, a level 1 defiant beast king who attacked me before. The king of the 5th floor is an eternal enemy, a peak level 1 defiant beast king, the blood-slaughtering sword king. The king of the 6th floor is actually a mature level 4 heavenly beast dragon sparrow with the ability to transform. A mature level 4 heavenly beast is comparable to a peak level 2 defiant beast king. It's really hard to imagine what kind of strength the kings of the 7th to 10th floors of the Tower of Slaughter have. Yi Qinfeng muttered to himself. After understanding the strength of the kings of the 6th floor and below, Yi Qinfeng was shocked by the overall strength of the Tower of Slaughter. Strength. I need to increase my strength as soon as possible. Otherwise, the 5th floor of the Tower of Slaughter will be my limit. Furthermore, with the Wu family's high bounty, my life could be in danger at any time. Yi Qinfeng took a deep breath and decided to himself. Yes, in 3 days, the 5th floor of the Tower of Slaughter will hold an auction for the cultivators of the 5th floor. After browsing to the end, Yi Qinfeng obtained another important piece of information and revealed a strong interest. However, as he was on the 3rd floor of the Tower of Slaughter, he would only have the qualifications to participate in the auction if he reached the 5th floor. Looks like I have to hurry up and challenge the Tower of Slaughter. Otherwise, I will miss the auction for the 5th floor of the Tower of Slaughter, Yi Qinfeng said in his heart. About 2 hours later, Eunuch Heng, who had used the dancing heavenly demonic art and was covered in demonic qi, defeated her opponent with an overwhelming advantage, obtaining 4 consecutive victories. After 4 consecutive victories, no one dared to challenge her again. In the end, Eunuch Heng also ended the day early. I want to challenge the Lion Fire King tomorrow. I wonder if you can help me arrange it? Before leaving, Yi Qinfeng found the person in charge of the arena, the voluptuous, red-dressed woman, and asked, "Young Master Yi, are you sure you want to challenge the Lion Fire King? With half of his demonic beast blood, his battle prowess is comparable to a peerless king." The red-dressed woman asked with some surprise, "I'm sure. I'll have to trouble you to arrange it." Yi Qinfeng nodded and said, "All right then. Since young Master Yi has made up his mind, my arena will arrange it for young Master Yi as soon as possible. We'll inform you when the time is right," the red-dressed woman said with a nod as she looked at Yi Qinfeng's arrogant face and thought of his astonishing battle prowess. Yi Qinfeng nodded. He didn't stay for long and left the battle arena with Eunuch Heng. Mobile reading website. Book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record your reading history. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 292. Surrounded by 5 legendary Kingson, the 3rd floor of the Tower of Slaughter, there was a beautiful red maple forest. Within the forest was an extremely luxurious courtyard that occupied an extremely large area. This courtyard was where King Lion Fire cultivated on the 3rd floor of the Tower of Slaughter. To be able to have an independent courtyard in the best location of the Tower of Slaughter, one could see Lion Fire's status on the 3rd floor. At this moment, the tall and sturdy golden-haired Lion Fire was lying comfortably on a rocking chair covered in thick beast skin. 2 beautiful women with fair skin and wearing thin skirts knelt on either side of him. They stretched out their soft hands and gently massaged his thighs. "Lion Fire, you're so comfortable." At this moment, the person in charge of the arena, the voluptuous woman in a red dress, suddenly barged into his room. Seeing Lion Fire's expression of enjoyment, she revealed a faint smile. "Pink, how come you have the time to come here? Did you miss me?" Lion Fire opened his eyes and looked at the voluptuous woman in a red dress who exuded a fatal temptation. His eyes immediately revealed a scorching look as he playfully spoke. "Lion Fire, you're thinking too much. I came here today to bring you a piece of news." The woman in a red dress ignored Lion Fire's scorching gaze and sat across from him. She crossed her slender legs and spoke indifferently. "What news?" Lion Fire frowned slightly and asked. "Yi Qinfeng wants to challenge you," said the woman in a red dress. "Yi Qinfeng? That Yi Qinfeng from the Wu family who put out a bounty of 100,000 slaughter points?" Lion, whose eyes lit up, and he suddenly sat up. He waved his hand and asked the 2 women in short skirts to retreat. Then he asked in high spirits, "Yes, that's him." The woman in a red dress nodded and said, "However, his life has already risen to 300,000 slaughter points. Are you interested in dealing with him? 300,000 slaughter points? This kid's life is so valuable." Lion Fire's eyes lit up even more. Although he was the king of the 3rd floor of the Tower of Slaughter, he still lacked slaughter points. If he had 300,000 slaughter points, he was completely confident in breaking through to the king realm. The Wu family had no choice. That Yi Qinfeng's strength has already exceeded their expectations. Today in the arena, that Yi Qinfeng only used one move to instantly kill Ghostwalker and 7 others. The red-dressed woman did not conceal Yi Qinfeng's battle prowess and told Lionfire about what had happened in the arena. What? He only used one move to kill Ghostwalker and the others? Did you see it with your own eyes? Upon hearing this news, Lionfire's arrogant face revealed a look of shock. After all, even he couldn't insta-kill Ghostwalker and the others. I saw it with my own eyes. That Yi Qinfeng is really scary. The woman in red nodded. Looking at Lion Hua's increasingly gloomy face, she asked, "What's wrong? Are you scared?" "Pink, do you really want me to fight?" Lionfire frowned and stared at the woman in red with his bell-sized eyes. "It's not me who wants you to fight. It's First Elder Hua who wants you to fight." The corners of the red-dressed woman's mouth rose slightly, her alluring red lips forming an alluring arc as she slowly said, "Why, did that Yi Qinfeng offend First Elder Hua?" Lionfire asked in surprise. "Great Elder who did not tell me the exact reason. However, if you are willing to fight, Great Elder Hua can lend you the top-grade Earth-tier shield of Hell's Gate. Furthermore, after the matter is over, Great Elder Hua will reward you with another 300,000 slaughter points." The woman in red shook her head and said, "Really?" Lionfire's bell-sized eyes widened as he asked in surprise, "Do you think the First Elder would lie to you?" The red-dressed woman asked in return, "All right, tell that Yi Qinfeng to wash his neck and wait for me. Tomorrow I will definitely wring his head off." When he thought of Yi Qinfeng's 600,000 slaughter points and the Earth's Gate shield's defensive power, Lionfire agreed without hesitation. "Tomorrow morning I will arrange a duel between you and Yi Qinfeng. I hope you can win." As she spoke, the red-dressed woman took out the dark gold Earth's Gate shield from her universe ring. It was engraved with a large number of runes and was extremely heavy. She handed it over to Lionfire. "Before I conquer you, I will not die." Lionfire opened his mouth and confidently said, "After you kill that Yi Qinfeng, I will give you a chance." After she finished speaking, the red-dressed woman did not stay for long. She stood up and left with a refreshing fragrance. Nick Heng, the Tower of Slaughter, is far more complicated than we imagined. Moreover, our current situation is very dangerous. I've decided to send you away from Slaughter City and wait for me at the Ancient Ink Merchant Alliance on 3-Star Island. After gaining a deeper understanding of the Tower of Slaughter, Yi Qinfeng felt increasingly uneasy. After comprehensive consideration, he decided to send you Nick Hang away first. This way, if there was any danger, he would have a chance to escape with his own strength and trump cards. "Qingfeng, since the Tower of Slaughter is so dangerous, why don't we leave together?" Although Yi Qinfeng's battle prowess was comparable to a peerless king, there was no lack of high-level reverse beast kings in Slaughter City. Nick Hang was worried about his safety and suggested softly, "Don't worry, Nick Hang. I know what I'm doing. Once I smell danger, I will leave immediately." Yi Qinfeng was very interested in the auction on the 5th floor of the Tower of Slaughter. Moreover, he had not seen the 9 Dragon Jade annulus yet. He decided to take the risk and stay for a while longer. "All right, let's go." After he finished speaking, Yi Qinfeng took Nick Hang through the teleportation array and left the Tower of Slaughter. They quickly headed for the harbor outside the Tower of Slaughter City. When Yi Qinfeng took Nick Hang out of the Tower of Slaughter and headed for the harbor, they were discovered by many spies. The news immediately reached the ears of Shui Kelo, the Wu family head, and the others. Are they leaving? Shui Kelo was surprised when he heard the news. He immediately ordered people to keep an eye on Yi Qinfeng's movements and see if he was really leaving the Tower of Slaughter City. If Yi Chen-feng could leave, that would be the outcome that he wanted to see the most. While Xue Kuluo ordered people to keep an eye on Yi Chen-feng's movements, the 5 peerless kings of the Wu family all moved out. Under the lead of the Wu family head, they quickly headed for the Tower of Slaughter City. They wanted to kill Yi Chen-feng outside the Tower of Slaughter City to prevent future trouble. Nick Hang, don't hesitate. Leave the Tower of Slaughter City, quickly. The two of them quickly arrived at the harbor where the sea breeze blew. Yi Chen-feng, who had sensed danger, quickly had the moon raiment board the ship. Ching-feng, you have to come back and find me. Nick Hang looked at Yi Chen-feng reluctantly. Her eyes were filled with worry. Don't worry, Nick Hang. I'll definitely come back to 3-Star Island to find you in half a year at the latest. Yi Chen-feng promised as he looked at Ni-chan's charming face. Okay, I'll wait for you. Nick Hang bit her red lips tightly as she looked at Yi Chen-feng with tears in her eyes. She started the ship. Yi Chen-feng let out a sigh of relief as he watched the ship sail towards the blue sea at an extremely fast speed. He slowly turned around and looked at the 5 kings of the Wu family flying towards him. He revealed a fearless smile, and like an unyielding war god, he slowly walked towards them with heavy steps. Mobile reading site. Book address. To make it easier for you to read this book next time, you can click Save at the bottom to record this book. You will see it the next time you open your bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 293. Intimidating the Wu family. Yi Chen-feng, I have been waiting for you to leave the slaughter tower for a long time. Today, I will make sure that you will not be able to escape. The Wu family head Wu Tuahong was wearing a black robe with golden edges. He was tall and had a dignified appearance. He looked at Yi Chen-feng coldly and said with a murderous look, "Haha, since I dare to stay, I am naturally not afraid of your Wu family's revenge. If your Wu family wants to be annihilated by Xingluo Sky City, then go ahead." Yi Chen-feng laughed loudly and said arrogantly, "Impossible! You are definitely not a disciple of Xingluo Sky City." Hearing Yi Chen-feng's words, Wu Tuahong and the others' expressions changed slightly. However, thinking of the agreement between the Slaughter City and Xingluo Sky City, Wu Tuahong did not completely believe Yi Chen-feng's fabricated identity. It's up to you whether to believe it or not. If you want to make a move, then hurry up. Otherwise, I will return to the slaughter tower. Yi Chen-feng laughed coldly as he watched the 5 kings of the Wu clan walk towards the massacre inner city with an arrogant expression. Although Yi Chen-feng's actions were very risky, he indeed had no other choice. If he could not pretend to be a disciple of Xingluo Sky City and intimidate the 5 kings of the Wu family, then with their strength, they could easily catch up to Ni-chan's ship. At that time, their situation would be even more dangerous. Family head, do you believe that he is a disciple of Xingluo Sky City? The head elder of the Wu family looked at Yi Chen-feng's back and transmitted his voice to Wu Tuahong, who had a gloomy expression, and asked. It could be said that now was the best time to kill Yi Chen-feng. If they missed this opportunity, then it would be difficult to kill him in the future. Xingluo Sky City. Thinking of the strength of Xingluo Sky City, Wu Tuahong's clenched fists loosened several times. If Yi Chen-feng really came from Xingluo Sky City, not to mention the Wu family, even Slaughter City would not dare to harm him. Moreover, Wu Tuahong also realized that the Wu clan's relationship with Yi Chen-feng was entirely due to Xue Kuluo's orders. From the fact that Xue Kuluo himself didn't dare to directly confront Yi Chen-feng, it was highly likely that Yi Chen-feng's identity was real. Great Elder, pass down my order. Withdraw the bounty my Wu family issued, and restrict my Wu family's disciples from clashing with that Yi Chen-feng. Wu Tuahong took a deep breath. In the end, he chose to believe in Yi Chen-feng's identity and helplessly ordered. The news of Yi Chen-feng using his identity as a disciple of Xingluo Heaven City to intimidate the Wu family immediately reached Shwe Kuluo's ears. Trash! What a bunch of trash! Shwe Kuluo's face darkened when he learned that the Wu family wanted to stay out of this. He said in a low voice, "Pass down my order to Wu Tuahong. Tell him not to withdraw the bounty. Otherwise, I will make his Wu family disappear from Slaughter City." Phew, the Wu family has finally been intimidated. Nichang's ship should be far away by now. After successfully returning to the 3rd floor of the Slaughter Tower, Yi Qinfeng let out a sigh of relief. As long as he was in the Slaughter Tower, the Wu family would be bound by the rules of the Slaughter Tower. They would not be able to kill him as they pleased. Yi Qinfeng went to the advanced cultivation room that he had rented earlier. He took out the items he had obtained from killing the gray-robed elder and the others and checked his gains. 86,000 slaughter points, 3 low-grade heaven-class soul skills, 12 top-grade earth-class soul skills, 8 top-grade earth-class weapons, 21 high-grade earth-class weapons, 321 high-grade soul crystals, and more than 650,000 mid-grade soul crystals. And Cloud Pegasus Horse, another Cloud Pegasus Horse! Yi Qinfeng was very satisfied with his gains from killing the gray-robed elder and the others. He was especially happy that he had obtained another Cloud Pegasus Horse. Yi Qinfeng moved the items left behind by the gray-clad old man and the others into his universe ring. Then he started to meditate and wait for news from the woman in red. Before long, the identity medallion on his body vibrated restlessly. Through the identity medallion, the woman in the red dress informed him that he was going to have a duel with Lion Hua tomorrow morning. Although Lion Hua had not broken through to the reverse Beast King realm, as the king of the 3rd floor, Yi Qinfeng was completely confident that he had the strength to contend against a peerless king. He did not dare to be careless. He removed all distracting thoughts and absorbed the rich spiritual qi in the cultivation room to adjust his condition in preparation for tomorrow's battle. The news of the battle between Yi Qinfeng and Lion was swept through the entire 3rd floor of the Tower of Slaughter like a hurricane. It aroused the interest of almost all the cultivators. They all rushed to the martial arena, wanting to witness the battle. As for the red-robed woman, she deliberately raised the price of the spectators. However, this did not cause any dissatisfaction. Soon, the entire martial arena was filled to the brim. Those who came late could only stand and watch. Look, it's King Lionhua. I didn't expect him to come so early. It seems he attaches great importance to today's competition. As the appointed time approached, a tall and sturdy figure appeared in the martial arena. He wore a black robe and snakeskin boots. His long golden hair cascaded down his back, giving off an extremely oppressive feeling. Lion Hua was the first to appear. What a terrifying, oppressive aura. If I'm not wrong, King Lion Hua has already completed 69 consecutive victories on the 3rd floor of the Slaughter Tower. And if Lion Hua defeats Yi Qinfeng today, he will have completed 70 consecutive victories. Just thinking about it makes one feel fearful. Looking at the majestic Lion Hua standing in the center of the martial arena, many people were shocked by his astonishing strength and continuously cheered for him. Hearing the surrounding screams and cheers, Lion Hua enjoyed this feeling very much and revealed a smile. Suddenly, a proud and aloof figure appeared in the noisy martial arena. Although Lion Hua had never seen Yi Qinfeng before, when he saw this proud and aloof figure, Lion Hua's gaze turned sharp. It's Yi Qinfeng. He finally came. I can't wait to see the battle between them. Yes, today's battle will definitely be spectacular. Just thinking about it makes me excited. Whoosh! Yi Qinfeng walked to the center of the martial arena and lightly tapped the ground with the tip of his foot. His advancing figure suddenly blurred and appeared on the martial arena in a flash. He looked at the tall and sturdy Lion Hua. Wang, Wang, Wang! The battle between Yi Qinfeng and Lion Hua was not a small matter. In order to avoid unnecessary casualties, the red-robed woman ordered people to activate the highest defense of the martial arena. 10 layers of defensive light barriers rose at the same time and enveloped the entire martial arena. I didn't expect that you would actually dare to challenge me. It seems like you are very confident in your own strength. Sensing Yi Qinfeng's cultivation, Lion Hua was slightly shocked. He was shocked that a rank 3 mystic beast ancestor could actually kill Ghostly Walker and the other 6 in one strike. I have always been very confident in my own strength. Yi Qinfeng's lips slightly curled, revealing a proud and aloof smile as he said domineeringly, "Haha, you are indeed an interesting person. However, I'm afraid that the result of this battle will disappoint you. Today, I will step on your corpse and complete the 70-win streak. Then, I will take your head to claim the bounty." Lion Hua faced the sky and laughed loudly as he said ferociously, "Perhaps your wish will not come true today." Yi Qinfeng replied calmly as the mid-grade heaven artifact, gigantic fault heavenly sword, appeared in his hand. Heaven artifact. Seeing the gigantic fault heavenly sword in Yi Qinfeng's hand, Lion Hua's eyes lit up. As the king of the 3rd floor of the Tower of Slaughter, he didn't have a single heaven artifact. If he could obtain the gigantic fault heavenly sword, his offensive power would increase by several folds. Even if he couldn't break through to the reverse Beast King realm, he was confident that he could kill a peerless king. Yi Qinfeng, no matter how terrifying your offensive power is, today's victory will belong to me. The universe ring on Lion Hua's hand lit up, and he took out a hammer that weighed several tens of thousands of kilograms and was full of sharp spikes. It was a top-grade earth-tier hammer. Then he pointed it at Yi Qinfeng and said with killing intent, "You really talk a lot of nonsense." Yi Qinfeng shook his head as boundless red light shone from his body. The 3,000-meter-long, 2-headed blood dragon king appeared and hovered above his head like a small mountain. "Ha!" As Yi Qinfeng roared, he instantly fused with the 2-headed blood dragon king and slashed at Lion Hua with a sharp aura and terrifying dragon might. Mobile reading home, book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click Save at the bottom to record this reading record. You will see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 294. Yi Qinfeng vs. Lion Hua Instant Kill Sword. Yi Qinfeng, who was moving at high speed, suddenly emitted a perfect sword aura. In the blink of an eye, his entire body fused with the gigantic fault heavenly sword, turning into an incomparably sharp sword light that pierced towards Lion Hua's chest. What a fast sword! Lion Hua's pupils constricted, and the muscles on his arms suddenly expanded. He instinctively threw out his spiked heavy hammer, which carried a powerful destructive force as it met Yi Qinfeng's instant kill strike head-on. Buzz! An ear-piercing sound of collision rang out as sparks flew. Yi Qinfeng's sword pierced the spiked hammer, creating a large amount of sparks. After the instant kill sword was blocked by Lion Hua, Yi Qinfeng immediately circulated the 8 Sha Azura Art and 6 Meridian Divine Shield, pouring his power into the 20,000 gene gigantic fault heavenly sword. The terrifying sword light continued to emit as it continuously attacked the spiked hammer in Lion Hua's hand. The strength of over 350,000 gene forcefully pushed Lion Hua's huge body back. Relying on absolute strength to push Lion Hua back, Yi Qinfeng followed up with another attack. Streaks of sword aura wantonly and incomparably sharp sword light continuously pierced out, engulfing Lion Hua like a violent storm, suppressing his offensive and forcing him to continuously retreat. King Lion Hua is being suppressed right from the start, worthy of being an expert that killed 7 people in one move. Don't worry, Lion Hua was chosen by the Slaughter King to become the king of the 3rd floor of the Slaughter Tower. His foundation is unimaginably deep. Moreover, the blood of a half-demon flows in his body. It will be too difficult for Yi Qinfeng to defeat him. 10,000 gene shattering hammer. With his attacks suppressed, Lion Hua, who had retreated to the edge of the arena, let out a roar. The soul force in his body erupted like a flood, and a meteor-like shadow of a hammer flew out, carrying the power of the breaking armaments. It forcibly broke through Yi Qinfeng's continuous attacks and smashed towards him. Phantom shift. A light flashed under Yi Qinfeng's feet as 9 afterimages appeared in an instant. He easily dodged Lion Hua's hammer shadow and launched a cloud-shattering palm at him. Rumble. Under the palm imprint that contained 750,000 gene of force, the air violently fluctuated. The terrifying cloud collapsing palm imprint imprinted on Lion Hua's chest at an astonishing speed. Break. As the collapsing cloud palm arrived, Lion Hua swung his heavy hammer and smashed it, shattering the collapsing cloud palm. Star Slayer. Seizing the opportunity when Lion Hua shattered the collapsing cloud palm, Yi Qinfeng's surging slaughter power erupted from within his body, amplifying his attack power. A star-like sword light tore through the surging air and once again slashed towards Lion Hua. Boom! A powerful explosive force exploded in front of Lionfire. Although Lionfire managed to block the star-slashing sword light with his spiked hammers, the destructive force of the star-slashing sword light knocked him back again. Purple Spirit Lightning. Yi Qinfeng once again gained the upper hand in terms of offense. Using Form Displacement Phantom, he closed in on Lion Hua in a flash. The extremely destructive purple spiritual lightning surged out of his body, turning into a field of violent lightning as it bombarded Lion Hua. Rumble, rumble, rumble. A deafening sound of thunder resounded as the endless violent thunderstorm forcibly shattered Lion Hua's body defense, destroying his flesh and sending him flying, crashing heavily onto the ground. Yi Qinfeng, you have truly infuriated me. Lion Hua, who was covered in wounds, quickly crawled up from the ground and roared like a mad lion. Demonic beast bloodline ignite. Having experienced Yi Qinfeng's frightening strength, Lion Hua rapidly ignited the half-demonic beast bloodline flowing in his body. A malevolent lion had appeared on his chest as his strength climbed to the peak. Lion Hua, who had ignited his demonic beast bloodline, was the most frightening, and now he had the strength to kill ordinary peerless kings. As Lion Hua ignited his demonic beast bloodline and his strength soared, Yi Qinfeng did not retreat. A soaring blood light surged out of his body like a great river recklessly surging. Slaughter halo, attack amplitude, critical blood. With a slash of his sword, rolling blood light dyed the air. The sword light condensed from the perfect sword aura shot out, aggressively sweeping towards Lion Hua. Boom! As the critical blood slash approached, Lion Hua clenched his spiky hammer tightly and ruthlessly smashed down, forming a frightening shockwave. Dense water ripples appeared in the air as the hammer shattered Critical Blood's sword light. After igniting his demonic beast bloodline, this Lion Hua's strength has indeed increased by a lot. Yi Qinfeng looked at Lion Hua, whose demonic power was wanton and ferocious. A light flashed under his feet as he erupted with 750,000 gene of strength and continued to attack. Rumble, rumble, rumble. The two clashed again and again, stirring up endless sparks. A large amount of energy halos bloomed in the air like flowers. The sound produced by the collision of the two large forces was like a large bell that appeared between heaven and earth. It shook the eardrums of the spectators in the stands, making them feel extremely uncomfortable. Ancient profound ice freeze. When the two's battle reached its climax, the ancient profound ice suddenly gushed out of Yi Qinfeng's body and froze Lion Hua's legs, interrupting his attack rhythm. In the next moment, Yi Qinfeng slashed out with his sword. The perfect sword aura gushing out was like a long river, turning into an incomparably sharp sword light, slashing towards Lion Hua's chest. Due to the extreme speed of this sword, Lion Hua, whose legs were frozen by the ancient profound ice, was unable to dodge. Just as his chest was about to be hit by this swift sword, a dark golden earthgate shield suddenly appeared in Lionhua's hand, forcibly blocking Yi Qinfeng's sword attack. A top-grade earth tool shield. Looking at the earthgate shield in Lionhua's hand, Yi Qinfeng couldn't help but frown. He had never thought that Lionhua would have such a trump card. Under normal circumstances, Yi Qinfeng could rely on the gigantic Fault Heavenly Sword's attack power to break through the Earthgate shield. However, Yi Qinfeng's cultivation realm was too low, so he couldn't bring out the true power of a heaven tool. Thus, he couldn't help but feel a little troubled when Lionhua brought out the Earthgate shield. Yi Qinfeng, this match can end now. After seeing the defensive power of the Earthgate shield, Lionhua's heart calmed down. He looked at Yi Qinfeng with a ferocious expression and said arrogantly, "What? A broken shield gave you so much confidence?" As he spoke, the green spirit fire, ancient frost spirit water, and purple spirit lightning appeared on Yi Qinfeng's body and quickly gathered above his head. This move again? This Yi Qinfeng is going to use his strongest killing move. I wonder if Lionhua can block it with the shield in his hand? If he can block Yi Qinfeng's move, I reckon that Yi Qinfeng won't be able to reverse the situation. Seeing that Yi Qinfeng was about to use the wrath of divine punishment, the audience in the stands held their breaths and didn't even blink. "Come on, Yi Qinfeng. Let's see if your attack is stronger or my defense is stronger." The moment the three spirit items gathered, Lionhua also felt fear. However, he knew that he had no way out. He continued to pour his soul power into the Earthgate shield to activate its strongest defense. Wrath of divine punishment. The three colorful energy streams blasted out like meteors, carrying astonishing destructive power. It was like a divine punishment had descended and bombarded Lionhua, who was gritting his teeth. Defend. As the wrath of divine punishment blasted over, Lionhua held the Earthgate shield in his hand and defended with all his might. Boom! An earth-shattering explosion resounded and reverberated throughout the 9 heavens. The destructive energy radiance was like a huge wave, engulfing the entire battle arena. The incomparably hard battle arena was filled with cracks. The terrifying energy storm struck the battle arena. The 10 layers of energy barrier around the battle arena trembled violently. Cracks appeared on the surface of the barrier, as if it could shatter at any time. After witnessing the destructive power of the wrath of divine punishment once again, the audience in the stands still felt fear and trepidation. The arena, which had been noisy just a moment ago, became completely silent in an instant, leaving only the wanton roar of the destructive storm. Yes, I blocked it. Yi Qinfeng, who had expended a lot of energy, saw Lionhua holding the Earthgate shield in full defense amidst the destructive storm. The wanton energy was almost completely neutralized by the Earthgate shield's powerful defense. Yi Qinfeng, I've already said that today's victory will belong to me. Lionhua, who was holding the Earthgate shield to block the attack of the wrath of divine punishment, revealed an arrogant expression and shouted loudly with blood flowing out of the corner of his mouth. It was as if the scales of victory had tilted toward him. Mobile reading home. Book address. To make it easier for you to read this book, next time, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this book. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 295. Is that so? I would like to see how many times you can withstand the wrath of divine punishment. Yi Qinfeng looked at the arrogant Lionfire. With a thought, the ancient mystic ice, green spirit fire, and purple spirit lightning surged out of his body and quickly gathered. A large number of energy halos fluctuated, and dense ripples appeared in the air. Although the Earthgate shield could withstand the wrath of divine punishment, the destructive power of the wrath of divine punishment still caused Lionfire to feel a lingering fear. when he saw the energy cluster rapidly condensing above Yi Qinfeng's head. Lionfire's expression changed drastically. A powerful air current was generated within his body. Lion King's roar. Lionfire roared, and endless air currents surged out of his body, forming a ferocious lion head. It roared at the sky and charged at Yi Qinfeng. Wrath of divine punishment, destroy! When the Lion King's roar arrived, Yi Qinfeng immediately controlled the destructive energy gathered by the three spiritual items to collide with it. Boom! 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 The two powerful energies collided, and thunderous booms echoed above the stage. The terrifying energy was like the wrath of a god, destroying everything in the world. After resisting the wrath of divine punishment for 3 breaths, the Lion King's roar formed by the Yao beast's bloodline was destroyed. The destructive energy was like a rushing river as it ferociously slammed into the pale-faced Lionfire. Earthgate shield, the strongest defense. Lionfire felt his soul tremble when he saw the destructive energy whistling towards him. He spat out several mouthfuls of Yao beast's blood on the Earthgate shield, which was overflowing with a dark golden radiance, stimulating the shield's defensive power. Boom! The wrath of divine retribution exploded on the Earth's gate shield. The destructive power released in the air caused the entire arena to blur and distort. Endless gales and energy howled as they crazily attacked the Earth's gate shield. Lion's face turned red from the shockwaves as he continuously retreated. Kacha! Kacha! The 10 layers of defensive light shields around the arena were hit by the remaining power of the wrath of God's punishment. Dense cracks appeared on them once again, and 3 layers of extremely strong defensive energy light shields were directly shattered. The destructive power released by the wrath of God's punishment wreaked havoc for more than 10 breaths of time before gradually disappearing. The incomparably hard arena became a mess. Lion Hua, who bore the brunt of the wrath of God's punishment, was sent flying and fell onto the shattered arena. Pink, who do you think will have the last laugh in this competition? A tall, middle-aged man in a dark green robe with a large number of totem tattoos all over his body walked to the side of the tall woman in a red dress and asked in a low voice. This green-robed man was the person in charge of the 4th floor of the Tower of Slaughter. He was a level 1 defiant beast king with a green soul. I can't tell right now. If that Yi Qinfeng can continue to use such a terrifying attack, then even Lionfire with the Earthgate shield won't be able to withstand it. If he can't sustain it, then the scales of victory will tip in Lionfire's favor. The woman in red whispered, I feel that Yi Qinfeng has a higher chance of winning. However, if Yi Qinfeng wants to kill Lionfire, will you stop him? Green Soul's deep eyes emitted a dim light as he looked at Yi Qinfeng's aloof figure and slowly asked, Why should I stop him? The woman in red coldly replied, He is, after all, the king of your floor. If he dies, it will be a loss to my Slaughter City. Green Soul helplessly said, This is a life and death battle. If he dies, then he can only blame himself for not being strong enough. The woman in red said without a trace of emotion. She didn't care about Lionfire's life or death. I already said that I will be the winner of this battle. The pale-faced lion who crawled up from the ground and spat out a mouthful of blood. He looked at Yi Qinfeng, who was panting heavily, and roared. Then he smashed his spiked hammer at him. He wanted to take advantage of Yi Qinfeng's weakened state to kill him in one go. Lionfire's murderous aura surged. Yi Qinfeng immediately swallowed the heavenly fate water that he had kept in his mouth. In an instant, his exhausted soul power was recovered. 2 killing halos appeared behind him once again. A terrifying killing force spread out, causing others to tremble. You are too naive. Yi Qinfeng sneered. Several of his trump cards erupted at the same time. Perfect sword, aura, killing force, and 350,000 gene of strength were all poured into the gigantic tower, heavenly sword. activating 81 offensive runes. For Slaughter Style's Eternal Night. With a single strike, a dazzling black warship soared into the sky. It was as if it was going to split the heaven and earth apart. It disdainfully slashed at Lionfire, whose expression had changed greatly. Feeling the terror of Yi Qinfeng's sword, Lionfire felt as if he had fallen into an ice cellar. His limbs were numb. He didn't dare to take it head-on. He quickly used the Earthgate shield to defend. Kacha! The Earthgate shield was attacked by the Eternal Night warship, which was comparable to a low-grade Dao skill. Cracks immediately appeared on its surface. The powerful sword aura passed through the shield and into Lionfire's arm. His strong arm was shattered, and a large amount of blood spurted out. After using the 4 Slaughter Styles Eternal Night to push Lionfire back, Yi Qinfeng's feet flashed. He instantly appeared in front of Lionfire, not giving him any chance to take a breather. Streaks of killing force, perfect sword aura, and 350,000 gene of strength continuously attacked the Earthgate shield, suppressing Lionfire. With his attacks completely suppressed, more and more cracks appeared on the Earthgate shield. Lionfire's heart sank to the bottom. He had never dreamt that Yi Qinfeng would be so powerful. He was completely not his opponent. However, he didn't completely accept his fate. Facing Yi Qinfeng's powerful attacks, Lionfire, who had retreated to the edge of the shattered stage, decided to fight with all his might. Demonic beast bloodline, burn all of it! With his life hanging by a thread, Lionfire didn't hesitate to burn all of his demonic beast bloodline, erupting with his strongest power. Although burning all of his demonic beast bloodline would result in a terrifying aftereffect, Lionfire knew that if he didn't fight with all his might, the same day next year would be his death anniversary. Fight with all your might, but it's too late. Looking at Lionfire, whose bloodline power was wanton, Yi Qinfeng suddenly threw out the gigantic Fault Heavenly Sword. The gigantic Fault Heavenly Sword, which was filled with 350,000 gene of force, pierced through the cracked Earthgate shield like a hot knife through butter, forcibly breaking a hole in the Earthgate shield. In the next moment, the ancient cold black ice, purple spiritual thunder, and green spiritual fire surged out of Yi Qinfeng's body for the 3rd time, converging into a destructive force. It was like a divine punishment from the gods, bombarding the roaring Lionfire. Boom! 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 The destructive storm instantly swallowed Lionfire, and the space around his body was completely distorted. A large amount of distorting power was like twisting spiritual snakes, dancing wildly and destroying everything. The Earthgate shield had just been pierced through by the gigantic Fault Heavenly Sword, and its defensive power was greatly reduced. The surging destructive power penetrated through the hole in the Earthgate shield and bombarded Lionfire's body recklessly, blasting his body into a bloody mess. Lionfire's body was like a cannonball, directly smashing into the energy light barrier dozens of meters away, causing cracks to appear on the light barrier. He softly fell to the ground, losing his ability to fight. The king of Lionfire was really defeated, and he was thoroughly defeated. His 69-win streak has come to an end. Yes, this Yi Qinfeng's attack power is too terrifying. With the strength he displayed, he should be able to enter the 5th floor of the Slaughter Tower. Looking at the mangled Lionfire lying in a pool of blood, the audience in the stands were shocked by Yi Qinfeng's terrifying attack power. They looked at him with eyes full of reverence. Lionfire, the match is over. You can go to the afterlife. Yi Qinfeng stepped on the broken stage, walking step by step towards the dying Lionfire, and said with a cold, killing intent, I am the King of Slaughter of the 3rd floor, chosen by the King of Slaughter. If you kill me, the King of Slaughter will not forgive you. Facing death, Lionfire was terrified. He had no choice but to use the King of Slaughter to intimidate Yi Qinfeng and beg him to let him go. No one can save you. With that, Yi Qinfeng's body blurred and appeared behind Lionfire at an extremely fast speed. The power of the ancient cold mystic ice surged into his body and froze him into an ice sculpture, not giving him a chance to self-destruct. Then, a devouring vortex appeared in Yi Qinfeng's palm. He pressed it into Lionfire's head and devoured his spiritual beast. Lionfire wailed in fear as his spiritual beast was devoured by Yi Qinfeng. His eyes were wide open, and he died with a grievance. For mobile users, please visit /Mpiesha, remember the URL, Samwu Chinese Network. Chapter 296. Fourth level of the Tower of Slaughter. This Lionhua is truly worthy of being the third-level king of the Tower of Slaughter, to actually have so much death chi in his body. When Lionhua died, a dense aura of death was released from his corpse. When Yi Qinfeng circulated the 8 slaughtering Azura art and devoured the aura of death released by Lionhua, the embryonic form of the third killing halo was faintly condensed. Can I go directly to the fourth level of the Tower of Slaughter now? Yi Qinfeng put away Lionhua's items and stood beside his corpse. Then he looked at the tall woman in a red dress in the center of the spectator stand and spoke in a mighty and tyrannical manner. Young Master Yi has killed the third-level king of the Tower of Slaughter. Naturally, you can directly enter the fourth level. As for young Master Ye's slaughter points, you can go directly to the back hall of the killing fields to collect them. The woman in the red dress smiled sweetly and said softly, not showing any expression because of Lionhua's death. Many thanks. Yi Qinfeng nodded, under everyone's respectful gazes. He arrived at the back hall of the slaughterhouse. He collected his 16,500 slaughter points and left the slaughterhouse that was filled with the thick smell of blood. After obtaining the qualifications to enter the fourth level of the Tower of Slaughter, Yi Qinfeng did not immediately head to the fourth level. Instead, he returned to the high-grade training room he had rented and took out Lionhua's belongings, a dark gold spatial ring. Using the power of the God-Eater brain, he broke the restrictions on the ring and sent his soul power into it. Why does this Lionhua have so few slaughter points? Yi Qinfeng had originally thought that, as the third-level king, Lionhua would have a large amount of slaughter points, but after checking, he found that Lionhua only had 28,000 slaughter points. This caused Yi Qinfeng to be slightly disappointed. As for the Earth's Gate shield, it had been destroyed by the fury of God's punishment and was now worthless. Fortunately, there were still 6 more Earth's tools in Lionhua's spatial ring, a high-grade heavenly skill, the Lion King's Roar cultivation scroll, 10 slaughter stones, and a third-level heavenly beast's demonic core. Lion King's Roar. I can learn this sonic soul skill. There weren't many high-grade soundwave soul skills in the Duohan continent, and they were quite expensive. Soundwave soul skills that could directly attack one's soul were enough to turn the tides of battle. So Yi Qinfeng had developed a strong interest in the Lion King's Roar. After devouring Lionhua's soul beast, Yi Qinfeng's body was filled with a large amount of pure soul power. In addition to the battle with Lionhua, the pill poison in his body was basically exhausted. He was preparing to enter seclusion for 1 or 2 days to break through to the 4th rank mystic beast ancestor realm. Soul-devouring incantation refine. Yi Qinfeng summoned the sword puppet and ordered it to protect him. He entered the void state and quickly refined Lionhua's soul beast to increase his soul power. If it was an ordinary person, they would only need to refine Lionhua's soul beast to break through from the 3rd rank to the 4th rank mystic beast ancestor realm. However, Yi Qinfeng's cultivation foundation was too solid, and the soul power contained in his soul beast, the 2-headed blood dragon king, was comparable to a peak master of the 6th rank. Therefore, Yi Qinfeng needed an extremely large amount of energy to break through to the 4th rank mystic beast ancestor realm. After refining Lionhua's soul beast, the soul power in his body only increased by 1/5. After refining Lionhua's soul beast, Yi Chen-fong immediately took out a 3-aperture heaven pill that exuded a strong medicinal fragrance and threw it into his mouth. Then he operated the soul-devouring incantation to continue devouring and refining to increase his soul power. Just as Yi Chen-fong was in seclusion in the advanced cultivation room to break through to the 4th rank mystic beast ancestor realm, the news of him killing the 3rd floor king, Lion Hua, spread in the slaughter tower. Coupled with the sky-high reward of 300,000 slaughter points, Yi Chen-feng's name became even more resounding in the slaughter tower. Yi Chen-fong, you really didn't disappoint me. Once I come out of seclusion, I will definitely take your life. On the 4th floor of the slaughter tower, there was a terrifying courtyard that exuded a thick death aura. Half of Sun Lei's body was submerged in a pool of blood. When he learned of this news, he revealed a sinister smile. Although Yi Chen-feng's strength had far surpassed his expectations, after several days of seclusion, his strength had increased once more. He completely believed that with his strength, he could definitely kill Yi Chen-fong and obtain the 300,000 slaughter points reward. As expected, each of these 3-aperture heaven pills is worse than the last. After spending a day or so to refine the second 3-aperture heaven pill, Yi Chen-fong discovered that he had only absorbed 2/3 of the medicinal efficacy. The remaining 1/3 had been completely wasted, and the pill toxins in his body were even more than when he had taken the first pill. This made him give up on refining the 3rd 3-aperture heaven pill and breaking through to the 4th rank mystic beast ancestor realm. The peak of the 3rd rank mystic beast ancestor realm. I wonder if I can kill Sun Lei with my current strength. Feeling his own strength, Yi Chen-fong didn't have the confidence to kill Sun Lei without transforming into his beast soul form. After all, a peerless genius like Sun Lei wasn't someone that Lion Hua or the Wu family elder could compare to. Moreover, besides Sun Lei, Yi Chen-fong believed that with the sky-high reward, there were many people in the slaughter tower who wanted his life. If he wanted to live, he could only think of ways to increase his strength. There are still 3 days before the auction on the 5th floor of the slaughter tower begins. I must enter the 5th floor within 3 days. Yi Chen-fong took a deep breath and left the high-grade cultivation room. Through the transportation array in the massacre field, he entered the 4th floor of the massacre pagoda, where danger lurked everywhere. Treasure Pavilion! Arriving at the 4th floor of the slaughter tower, Yi Chen-fong went to the treasure pavilion as usual. He wanted to see if there were any treasures of heaven and earth that could attract him. Besides going to the treasure pavilion to buy things, Yi Chen-fong had also obtained an important piece of information from the jade slip that the green-clothed woman had given him. The treasure pavilions on the 4th floor and above would regularly hold private trade fairs. As long as one had 50,000 slaughter points, they could participate. As for Yi Chen-fong, through his slaughter and rewards, his slaughter points had reached 170,000. He had the qualifications to participate in this private trading fair. However, he knew that if he wanted to obtain anything from the 5th level auction, 170,000 slaughter points were far from enough. He was prepared to sell off all the useless mid and high-grade earth items on him and exchange them for slaughter points. When Yi Chen-fong entered the treasure pavilion on the 4th floor of the slaughter tower, he immediately attracted many gazes. Many people who had seen his portrait recognized him and whispered among themselves. However, the matter of Yi Chen-fong killing Lion Hua was too shocking. For a moment, no one dared to provoke him. I want to sell some useless mid and high-grade earth items. Would you accept them? Yi Chen-fong ignored the complicated gazes around him and walked up to a tall man in white with a thick black beard. He seemed to be the person in charge of the treasure pavilion and asked in a low voice, "Of course we accept them. How much does young master you want for them?" The white-clothed man faintly smiled and directly called out Yi Chen-feng's surname. 135 mid-grade earth tools and 59 high-grade earth tools. Yi Chen-feng said slowly, Hearing the number of mid and high-grade earth items that Yi Qinfeng wanted to sell, everyone in the treasure pavilion sucked in a cold breath. They didn't dare to imagine just how many top experts Yi Qinfeng had killed in order to obtain so many earth items. Young Master Yi, my Tower of Slaughter has a clear purchase price for mid-grade and high-grade earthly weapons. Each mid-grade earthly weapon costs 200 slaughter points, and each high-grade earthly weapon costs 1,000 slaughter points, the white-robed man said. Sold them all. Yi Qinfeng didn't expect the mid-grade earth items to be sold at such a low price. However, outside of the highest grade earth items, he really didn't have any use for them. He directly sold all the mid and high-grade earth items he had on him for a total of 86,000 slaughter points. In addition to his own slaughter points, Yi Qinfeng now had more than 250,000 slaughter points. Right, boss? I wonder if there will be a private trade fair in the next few days? After selling a large number of medial grade and superior grade earth tools, Yi Qinfeng looked through the treasures in the treasure pavilion. However, he did not find anything of interest. Young Master Yi came at the right time. Tonight, our treasure pavilion is holding a private trade fair. If young Master Yi is interested, you can come directly. The white-clothed man revealed a faint smile and told Yi Qinfeng the time of the trade fair. Many thanks. After saying that, Yi Qinfeng didn't stay in the treasure pavilion for long. After leaving, he went to an inn and rented a high-grade training room to wait for the night to come. Mobile reading site, book address. To make it easier for you to read this book next time, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record your reading history. You will see the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 297. The night was like water. Darkness shrouded the slaughter pagoda. The brightly lit restaurants and brothels became lively. Many martial artists went in and out, relieving the pressure and venting the flames in their hearts. I really don't know which almighty person created this slaughter pagoda. The inside of this slaughter pagoda is actually the same as the outside. It has its own space with day, night, sun, moon, and stars. Yi Qinfeng could not help but sigh as he looked at the moon and stars covered by layers of clouds in the sky. And he also had a feeling that this slaughter pagoda itself was a treasure, and its level far surpassed his imagination. Young Master Yi, the private trade fair is about to begin. This way, please. When Yi Qinfeng stepped into the night and arrived at the treasure pavilion, a woman in a black cheongsam immediately welcomed him. Her body was curvaceous, and her legs were long and slender. Every frown and smile of hers was filled with a myriad of emotions. She led him down a long and narrow flight of stairs and arrived at the private trade fair. The power of array patterns. Yi Qinfeng walked into the luxuriously decorated trade fair. The walls were plastered with golden paper, jade, and 108 shining moonlight stones. With his keen perception, he was able to sense the power of array patterns. However, the array patterns in the trade fair weren't too strong, so Yi Qinfeng didn't take it to heart. Young Master Yi, this is your first time participating in a private trade fair. Do you need me to accompany you and explain the rules of the trade fair to you? The cheongsam woman looked at Yi Qinfeng with watery eyes and asked in a soft voice, No need, I like to be alone. Although the cheongsam woman was charming and her eyes revealed a different meaning, Yi Qinfeng wasn't interested in her at all. He shook his head and tactfully refused. Under her disappointed gaze, Lin Ming walked up to an ancient sandalwood armchair and closed his eyes to rest, waiting for the private trade fair to begin. As Yi Qinfeng closed his eyes and waited, his keen perception suddenly felt a sharp, killing, intent lock onto him. He opened his eyes and discovered that a tall and burly man in a deep purple robe, Sunlei, had appeared in the trade fair, his entire body emitting a murderous aura. He was staring at Lin Ming. Sunlei, Yi Qin-feng did not expect to meet Sun Lei here and frowned. Yi Qin-feng, I didn't expect us to meet again so soon. The overlord of the 4th floor of the Slaughter Tower, Sun Lei, grinned, revealing a row of white teeth. He looked at Yi Qin-feng and said, "However, I still admire your courage. You knew I wanted to kill you, yet you still dared to come to the 4th floor. The peerless king of the Wu clan wanted to kill me, but I killed him. Lion who wanted to kill me, but I also killed him. You are no exception." Yi Qin-feng's lips curled up slightly as he ignored Sun Lei's ferocious gaze. "Ha ha ha, Yi Qin-feng, I admit that you are stronger than I expected. However, killing you is still as easy as killing a chicken." Sun Lei laughed arrogantly as if he had heard the funniest joke in the world. "Sun Lei, do you think it's fun to argue like this? Only the weak would put on a brave front with words," Yi Qin-feng said with a cold smile. "Yi Qin-feng, I don't care who you are or how powerful your background is. I will turn you into a corpse in 3 days at most." Sun Lei's eyes flashed with a thick, killing intent as a powerful, murderous aura emanated from his body. Yi Qin-feng sneered and ignored the influence of Sun Lei's murderous aura. He did not back down and said, "No need for 3 days. I will challenge you in 2 days. Do you dare to accept?" "Good, good. I will kill you in 2 days." Sun Lei glared at Yi Qin-feng. His terrifying glare caused others to tremble. Seeing the two at each other's throats, the atmosphere of the trade fair became unprecedentedly tense. The previously noisy venue became completely silent. At this moment, the person in charge of the treasure pavilion, the man in white, walked in and mediated. "All right, both of you, calm down. This is not the place to settle your grudges. Let's have a private transaction. I wonder who is willing to start the transaction first? I'll go first." Yi Qin-feng took a sip of the tea that the beautiful maid had poured for him. He slowly said, "I have 2 demon heart crystals that contain a powerful demonic power. They can temper the body and enhance soul force. I want to exchange one for a pill with the tempering marrow ability, and the other for heavenly soul grass or a pound of 10,000-year spirit milk. Sun Lei came from the Xingluo continent's 7th grade holy land, Dark Azura Temple. The soul arts he practiced were similar to devil arts. Thus, when he saw the demon heart crystal in Yi Qin-feng's hand and felt the energy contained within it, his eyes brightened. If he could obtain the 2 demon heart crystals in Yi Qin-feng's hands, he believed that his strength would rise to another level, and he would reach the peak of the 1st rank reverse Beast King realm. Many people in the trade fair were also interested in the demon heart crystals in Yi Qin-feng's hands. However, none of them had what Yi Qin-feng needed, so no one made a bid. "Yi Qin-feng, do you dare to trade with me?" Sun Lei's lips curled up, revealing a meaningful smile as he deliberately asked. "As long as you can take out what I need, I will naturally trade with you," Yi Qin-feng said, his complexion unchanged. Since he dared to take out the demon heart crystals, he naturally wasn't afraid that Sun Lei would trade them away. "I have a jade essence stone that can temper the marrow, a gene of 10,000-year spirit milk for your 2 demon heart crystals. How about it?" Sun Lei took out a blood-red jade essence stone from his universe ring. It seemed as if blood was flowing within it, as well as a heavy white jade bottle. This jade essence stone's effects are inferior to pills. You have to add on 1,000 high-grade soul crystals. As for the 10,000-year spirit milk, as long as the weight and quality are high enough, it's fine. Yi Qin-feng had heard of the jade essence stone and knew that its value was extremely high. The effects of tempering marrow were also obvious, but he still wanted to blackmail Sun Lei. "All right, deal." Sun Lei didn't even think about it before agreeing. And the reason he was so happy was because the true medicinal effect of the 10,000-year spirit milk was to refine pills. It had a limited effect on increasing one's strength. As long as Yi Qin-feng didn't make a breakthrough in 2 days, he had complete confidence that he could kill Yi Qin-feng. As long as he killed Yi Qin-feng, then everything on Yi Qinfeng would be his, so he wouldn't suffer any losses. Sun Lei, the demonic energy contained within these demon heart crystals, is no trifling matter. When you refine them, don't be corroded by the demonic energy. Yi Qinfeng finished the trade with Sun Lei. He examined the jade essence stone and the 10,000-year spirit milk. After determining that there was nothing wrong with them, he deliberately said this. Ha ha ha, Yi Qinfeng, you should be more concerned about your own life. Sun Lei laughed, arrogantly saying, You only have 2 days left to live. Cherish your remaining days. After he finished speaking, Sun Lei stood up and left in a good mood. He couldn't wait to go back and refine the 2 demon heart crystals. Sun Lei, do you really think you've taken advantage of me? I'll soon let you know just how foolish you were to make a deal with me today. Looking at Sun Lei's proud back, the corners of Yi Qinfeng's lips curled up slightly, revealing a cold smile. After Sun Lei left, the atmosphere of the private trade fair became much more relaxed. Many people took out rare items to trade, and Yi Qinfeng continued to trade, using 2 top-grade earth artifacts, the fire mantis's monster core and forelimb, to trade for 10 sets of materials to refine the shadow transforming golden needle talisman, as well as the materials to refine the 3-aperture heavenly pill. After obtaining what he needed, Yi Qinfeng didn't stay for long. He tactfully refused the beautiful woman arranged by the white-clothed man and left the trade fair. He returned to his rented high-grade cultivation room and went into seclusion. He was preparing for his duel with Sun Lei in 2 days. For mobile users, please visit /Mpiaisha, remember the URL, Sanwu Chinese Network. Chapter 298. Tempering marrow, this gene of 10,000-year stalactite should be enough for the chaos divine would to nurture the power of chaos. After returning to the high-level practice room, Yi Qinfeng immediately took out the 10,000-year stalactite he had traded with Sun Lei. Although directly taking the 10,000-year stalactite would have a limited effect on one's cultivation, according to his previous experience, the 10,000-year stalactite could accelerate the chaos divine with's nurturing of the power of chaos. This was also the true reason why Yi Qinfeng had traded for the 10,000-year stalactite. Once the chaos divine would nurtured the power of chaos, he would have an important card in his hand. Even if Sun Lei refined the demon heart crystal and increased his strength, he wouldn't need to fear him. Moreover, Yi Qinfeng didn't believe that Sun Lei had the strength to refine the demon heart crystal in 2 days. The demon heart crystal contained far more demonic energy than the demon heart bone. If Sun Lei tried to forcefully refine the demon heart crystal without understanding it, it would likely backfire and harm his body. Thus, trading the demon heart crystal to Sun Lei wasn't giving him a lucky chance, but an unknown invisible bomb. Chaos divine would swallow. Yi Qinfeng raised his head and poured a large amount of milk-like, viscous 10,000-year-old stone milk into his stomach. Then he controlled the parasitic primal chaos divine within his heart meridian to quickly absorb it. As Yi Qinfeng controlled the chaos divine would to swallow and refine the 10,000-year stalactite, Sun Lei, who was half submerged in the blood pool, was preparing to refine the demon heart crystal he had traded with Yi Qinfeng. Yi Qinfeng, I find that you're so silly that you're cute. You actually traded such precious energy stones to me. I really don't know how to thank you. Sensing that the powerful demonic energy contained within the demon heart crystal was extremely beneficial to him, Sun Lei revealed a sinister smile. He had no doubt that if he refined these 2 demon heart crystals, his demonic arts would rise to a whole new level, and his cultivation would also rise to the peak of the first-rank defiant Beast King realm. Time was limited, so Sun Lei didn't waste any time. He took out a sharp dagger and cut open his chest, pressing one of the demon heart crystals into his body. Stained with Sun Lei's blood, the demon heart crystal immediately released a boundless demonic energy. Billowing demonic energy rushed into his body, like a wild horse, rampaging through his body. Yama art refine. The reason why Sun Lei dared to directly fuse the demon heart crystal into his body and refine it was because of Dark Azura Hall's inherited soul art, Yama arts. Lin believed that the Yama art's divine power could completely refine the demon heart crystal, and transform it into energy to fuse into his body. Yama, demon's body demon. Heart, demon, a demon's body demon. Heart, marrow, demon, soul crystal. Seeing that the demon heart crystal was being restrained by the Yama tactics, a terrifying demonic aura gushed out from the demon heart crystal. In an instant, it condensed into a ferocious demonic face and attacked Sun Lei's soul. Caught off guard, Sun Lei's soul was damaged. His head felt like it was about to split open. The pain was unbearable. Break. Devil demon soul, a demon, soul, marrow soul, soul demon, soul demon, soul demon. Lins. Souls demon souls. Lin, soul sin. Lei never imagined that refining a demon heart crystal would be so dangerous. For a time, both his body and soul were injured. With no other choice, he quickly took out the demon heart crystals that had fused into his body and used all his strength to resist the demon heart crystals that were converging on the demonic face. By the time he forcefully dispelled the demonic energy within the demon heart crystal and dispersed that ferocious demonic face, a day had already passed. But not only had he not made any progress in his strength, but his body had also been severely damaged by the demonic energy released by the demon heart crystal. Without several days of rest, it would be impossible for him to recover. This made him so angry that he wanted to vomit blood. His hatred for Yi Qinfeng grew even stronger. An accident occurred when Sun Lei was refining the demon heart crystal. The chaos divine wood in Yi Qinfeng's body had absorbed 0.5 kilogram of 10,000 years spirit milk, but it had successfully nurtured a wisp of chaos energy that was as thin as an ox's hair. Phew, I finally succeeded. The primal chaos divine wood had successfully nurtured the primal chaos force. Yi Qinfeng smiled faintly. With this strand of primal chaos force, Yi Qinfeng was completely confident that he could kill Sun Lei at a critical moment. There's still 1 day left. It should be enough for me to refine this jade essence stone. In order to further increase his strength, Yi Qinfeng took out the jade essence stone that he had traded with Sun Lei. He circulated the soul-devouring art and swallowed the jade essence power within it to refine his bone marrow. And, as expected, Sun Lei did something to this jade essence stone. When Yi Qinfeng circulated the soul-devouring art to refine the jade essence stone, his sharp soul perception detected a wisp of fatal poison within the jade essence stone. If an ordinary person was careless and allowed this poison to enter their bone marrow, their life would be in danger. But Yi Qinfeng, who had the chaos divine wood, was not afraid of the poison's corrosion. When the jade essence stone's poison entered his body, he immediately controlled the chaos divine wood to absorb it, not causing any harm to his body. After breaking Sun Lei's secret trick, Yi Qinfeng was relieved. He quickly absorbed the jade essence stone and refined his bone marrow. As a massive amount of jade essence power surged into his bone marrow, Yi Qinfeng immediately felt as if he had been pierced by thousands of silver needles. A tremendous pain spread through his entire body. A large amount of black blood flowed out from his open pores, dyeing him red. The impurities in his bone marrow were constantly expelled. The jade essence power began to fuse into his bone marrow, forming new blood. Once Yi Qinfeng's bone marrow was completely replaced with blood, he would be able to cultivate the marrow refining boundary to perfection. However, marrow refining was the final boundary of the 6th meridian divine shield, and also the most difficult boundary. The amount of energy required surpassed the sum of the previous 5 boundaries. A single jade essence stone could only allow one to reach the small success boundary of the marrow refining boundary. Time slowly passed. Yi Qinfeng relied on his incomparably strong willpower to endure the pain of tempering marrow. He revolved the 6 meridian divine shield again and again, tempering his bone marrow. Dark gold silk, my bone marrow has finally changed color. A person's bone marrow was dark red, but after tempering marrow, the bone marrow would turn dark gold. As he felt his bone marrow begin to change color, Yi Qinfeng finally smiled as he endured the pain. There's still half of the jade essence stone's strength left. It should be enough for me to reach 20% of the marrow refining boundary. Yi Qinfeng took a deep breath and continued to endure the pain of tempering marrow. He quickly swallowed the jade essence stone's jade essence power and continued to temper his bone marrow. Finally, at dawn, the jade essence stone in Yi Qinfeng's hand shattered. The jade essence power was completely swallowed up by Yi Qinfeng, tempering it into his bone marrow. After refining the jade essence stone, Yi Qinfeng had achieved his goal of reaching 20% of the marrow refining boundary. Just his body alone had reached 900,000 genes. In addition to the increase in his physical strength, his strength had reached an astonishing 1 million genes. This was comparable to a level 4 heavenly beast. It's time to go to the martial arena. Yi Qinfeng glanced at the dim light outside the window. He took a bath in his room, washing off the dirty blood on his body. Then he changed into a clean set of clothes and headed to the martial arena. During the 2 days that Yi Qinfeng had gone into seclusion, the entire 5th floor of the slaughter tower had been talking about his duel with Sun Lei. Many people had directly placed bets on the result of the match. Although Yi Qinfeng had become famous for killing Lianhua, and because of the 300,000 slaughter points reward many people knew about him, Sun Lei was the absolute king of the slaughter tower's 4th floor. His terror had deeply penetrated into the hearts of the martial artists on the 4th floor. Thus, almost no one was optimistic about Yi Qinfeng's chances. In their opinion, Yi Qinfeng had challenged Sun Lei as soon as he arrived on the 4th floor. That was no different than courting death. Mobile reading site, book address. In order to make it easier for you to read this book next time, you can click on the save button below to record your reading history. Next time you open the bookshelf, you will be able to see it. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 299. Yi Qinfeng versus Sun Lei. Look, that's Yi Qinfeng. He actually came so early. It seems like he's very confident about today's competition. What's the use of being confident? Everything depends on strength. Do you think he's a match for Sun Lei King? With his 3rd grade mystic beast ancestor strength, he'll be killed by Sun Lei King in 3 rounds at most. When Yi Qinfeng, who wore a white robe with cloud patterns, whose long hair fluttered in the wind, whose skin faintly flowed with sword light, whose face was clearly defined as if it was carved by a knife, and whose deep eyes flashed with a sharp gleam of disdain, walked into the arena, it was as if a stone had caused 1,000 ripples, and it caused a clamor. Yi Qinfeng's sharp hearing allowed him to hear that almost everyone in the stands was not optimistic about him. He was not affected in the slightest. With a leap, he jumped onto an empty stage and stood straight like a steel spear. He closed his eyes and waited for Sun Lei's arrival. After about an incense stick's worth of time, an oppressive killing intent appeared in the noisy arena. Sun Lei, who was wearing a black robe with golden edges and python scale boots, slowly flew over with a pale face and landed in front of Yi Qinfeng. Sun Lei, your complexion doesn't look too good. Seeing Sun Lei's pale and sickly complexion, Yi Qinfeng smiled faintly and deliberately said, I already told you that the demon heart crystal is not that easy to refine, but you didn't listen. Now you know that the truth is unpleasant to the ears. Yi Qinfeng, you despicable person. I swear I'll make you pay. I'll personally twist your head off and send you to the afterlife. Hearing Yi Qinfeng's harsh sarcasm, Sun Lei's face became incomparably gloomy. The muscles at the corner of his eyes twitched. A towering rage filled his chest. Despicable, Yi Qinfeng snorted and said, "Are you despicable or am I despicable? At least I didn't do anything to the demon heart crystal, but you injected poison into the jade essence stone. Unfortunately, the jade essence stone's poison is useless against me. But you overestimated your own abilities and forcefully refined the demon heart crystal, only to suffer the consequences. Cut the crap. I will definitely destroy you today." Hearing Yi Qinfeng's rebuttal, Sun Lei could no longer control the anger in his heart. Endless, baleful aura emanated from his body, causing the air to vibrate violently. Thunder Bird Fusion. A huge bird with a wingspan of more than 10 meters appeared on his body. Its body was flashing with lightning, and its eyes were as sharp as lightning. When he fused with the Thunderbolt bird, Sun Lei's strength reached its peak, and his injuries were forcefully suppressed. Roar! When Sun Lei fused with the Thunderbird, a terrifying dragon roar was emitted from Yi Qinfeng's body. A two-headed blood dragon king, with a body length of over 3,000 meters, appeared on Yi Qinfeng's body. The dragon might emitted from the king. Ancient rune made Sun Lei's heart tremble. Double-headed dragon. Yi Qinfeng's spiritual beast is actually a double-headed blood dragon. This is the first time I've seen such a terrifying spiritual beast. I was wondering why this Yi Qinfeng dared to challenge the King Sun Lei when he just arrived at the 4th floor of the Tower of Massacre. It turns out that his foundation is so deep. Maybe he really has a chance of winning. After witnessing Yi Qinfeng's spiritual beast, the two-headed blood dragon king, many people change sides. The person in charge of the arena, Green Soul, also appeared at the central stand at this moment to witness this battle between dragons and tigers. Buzz, 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 as the 10 layers of defensive light shields rose. The universe ring on Sun Lei's hand flashed. With great force, the earth-splitting axe, which had been fused with 100 offensive array patterns, appeared in his hand. The axe, which was full of destructive power, chopped towards Yi Qinfeng. 8 Slaughter Azura Art. When Sun Lei slashed with his axe, 2 killing halos appeared behind Yi Qinfeng, instantly increasing his attack power by 2 folds. In the next moment, a million gene of strength exploded in his body. He held the 20,000 gene gigantic fault heavenly sword and slashed towards the axe light without any fancy moves. After reaching 20% of the marrow refining stage, Yi Qinfeng's physical strength was comparable to a level 4 heavenly beast. He was even more terrifying than an ordinary absolute king. The gigantic fault heavenly sword hit the axe light, and the million gene of strength in the sword directly shattered it. Then it continued toward Sun Lei, whose expression had changed slightly. Pum! A deafening sound of metal clashing rang out as the 2 treasures clashed together, creating a large amount of sparks. What? How can you be so strong? Sun Lei's expression changed slightly as he felt the huge vibration from the axe. A few days ago, Sun Lei had fought with Yi Qinfeng on the 3rd floor of the Tower of Massacre, and he had some understanding of his strength. However, a few days later, he realized that Yi Qinfeng's strength had not only increased by a few times, but his physical strength had also far surpassed his own. What, are you very surprised? Yi Qinfeng's lips curled upwards, purposely provoking him. My strength has increased so quickly, and I have to thank you. If not for that jade essence stone, my physical strength would not have increased so much. Yi Qinfeng, you don't have to think about messing with my mind. In front of absolute power, your little tricks are useless. Sun Lei took a deep breath, suppressing the anger in his heart as he said with killing intent. Absolute power? Yi Qinfeng said disdainfully. Sun Lei, has your brain been corroded by the demonic aura of the demon heart crystal? At this point, you still think you have absolute power to defeat me? Boom! After being exposed by Yi Qinfeng again and again, the anger in Sun Lei's heart erupted like a volcano. He roared and continued to attack, Yi Qinfeng with his earth-splitting axe. He wanted to rely on his absolute power to suppress Yi Qinfeng's attacks. Yi Qinfeng did not dodge Sun Lei's ferocious attacks. Instead, he faced Sun Lei's ferocious attacks with his titanic fault heavenly sword, and they fought fiercely in the center of the arena. Because the two of them were fighting too quickly, many afterimages of speed appeared in the arena. The afterimages of speed collided with each other, causing the air to tremble violently. Gusts of wind swept out in all directions. Complete sword force, back off! Yi Qinfeng roared. Complete sword force surged out of his body and fused into his titanic, fault heavenly sword. His sword tore through the air as it slashed toward Sun Lei. Although Yi Qinfeng did not use any soul skills, his titanic fault heavenly sword had fused with double slaughter force, 500,000 kilograms of strength, and complete sword force. Its offensive power reached an unbelievable level. It was unstoppable as it slashed toward Sun Lei's earth-splitting axe. Boom! An energy whirlpool appeared out of nowhere. A powerful recoil swept out in all directions, causing the surrounding energy barrier to tremble. Cracks appeared on the ground. Dang dang! After facing Yi Qinfeng's sword head-on, Sun Lei lost control of his body. He took 3 steps back uncontrollably, and the blood in his body churned violently. Sun Lei was forced back. How can Yi Qinfeng be so strong? King Sun Lei won't lose, right? I bet 10,000 slaughter points on him to win. If he loses, I will lose everything. Where did this Yi Qinfeng come from? He is only a rank 3 mystic beast ancestor, but he can unleash strength comparable to a king tier. This is too terrifying. Seeing Yi Qinfeng force Sun Lei back with a single sword strike, many of Sun Lei's supporters were shocked. Sun Lei, your strength is truly disappointing. Seeing Sun Lei retreat, Yi Qinfeng revealed an arrogant look. He spoke domineeringly, continuing to disturb Sun Lei's heart. Yi Qinfeng, that was just a warm-up. The real fight is about to begin. As he spoke, Sun Lei's face darkened. He circulated the Yama arts at high speed, and a powerful demonic aura was released from his body. After experiencing Yi Qinfeng's strength, which was comparable to a rank 4 heavenly beast, Sun Lei knew that he could not hide his strength any longer. Otherwise, he would die. Mobile reading site. Book address. For your convenience, you can click on the Save button below to record your reading history. You will be able to see it the next time you open your bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 300. Primal Chaos, Sky-Breaking Armor. Is he going to go all out? Yi Qinfeng revealed a serious expression when he felt the demonic aura from Sun Lei's body. Although he had gained the upper hand in the previous exchange, he knew that Sun Lei had a very deep foundation to be able to become the king of the 4th floor of the Slaughter Pagoda. It would not be so easy to kill him. Thunderbolt flash. Bolts of lightning formed beneath Sun Lei's feet, followed by the sound of thunder. Suddenly, Sun Lei's body became blurry. Like a bolt of lightning, he appeared in front of Yi Qinfeng and launched a thunderous attack. Shifting Phantom. The speed of Sun Lei's attack could be said to be extremely fast. The terrifying speed brought about an ear-piercing sound as it broke through the air. However, Yi Qinfeng's soul had been tempered by the 8 Slaughter War Emperor and was incomparably powerful. He sensed the danger in advance and decisively used Shape-Shifting Phantom to dodge. After Yi Qinfeng dodged the attack, Sun Lei continued to use Thunderbolt Flash. He transformed into a bolt of lightning and quickly chased after Yi Qinfeng. He wanted to rely on his absolute speed to suppress Yi Qinfeng and gain an overwhelming advantage. Thunderbolt Flash. King Sun Lei is using a top-grade Heaven-class soul skill, Thunderbolt Flash. If I remember correctly, Sun Lei used this move to kill the previous king of the 4th floor of the Slaughter Pagoda. The speed of this Thunderbolt Flash is too shocking. Yi Qinfeng is in trouble. 9 afterimages of speed. San Lei attacked rapidly. Yi Qinfeng, who was dodging at high speed, quickly shook his body and transformed into 9 afterimages of speed. He narrowly avoided Sun Lei's attack. Your reaction is not slow, but it's useless. Sun Lei's eyes flashed with ferocity. He continued to use Thunderbolt Flash and launched a tidal wave of attacks at Yi Qinfeng. In a few short breaths, the two of them, one attacking and one dodging, shuttled back and forth across the arena. The two of them flashed rapidly, sometimes overlapping and sometimes separating. The fierce attacks and flashing figures were too much for the eyes to take in. Exclamations could be heard from the spectators' stands. Ancient Profound Ice Freeze! Yi Qinfeng also knew that blindly dodging would only put him in a passive position. He immediately controlled the power of the ancient cold ice to surge out of his body and freeze Sun Lei's body, slowing him down. Crack! The power of the ancient cold profound ice was infinitely close to that of sky water. Being attacked by the cold energy it released, Sun Lei's legs were immediately covered in thick ice, slowing down his speed. Fourth slaughter style, cutting stars. Seizing this opportunity, the two halos of slaughter surged with endless slaughter energy, amplifying Yi Qinfeng's attack power by twofold. A sword light shot out like a meteor, leaving a deep sword mark in the air as it slashed toward Sun Lei's chest, forcing him back. For slaughter styles, you're from Xingluo Sky City. When Yi Qinfeng used the 8-Sha Azura technique, Sun Lei felt a sense of familiarity. Now that he was attacked by the 4 slaughter styles, he immediately suspected Yi Qinfeng's identity. You talk too much nonsense. Yi Qinfeng didn't directly answer Sun Lei's question. His body flashed as he closed in on Sun Lei and launched a counterattack. Streaks of sword light flashed like swimming dragons. The incomparably sharp sword light turned into streaks of light and merged into one, enveloping Sun Lei and suppressing his speed once again. Extreme purple spiritual lightning, ancient profound ice, green spiritual fire fuse. Just as Sun Lei relied on his absolute strength to tear apart Yi Qinfeng's interweaving sword shadows, Yi Qinfeng quickly controlled the 3 spiritual items to fuse together, forming a terrifying destructive power. Wrath of God's punishment. Yi Qinfeng roared. The destructive power that distorted the air was like a god's punishment that could destroy the world. It carried an astonishing destructive power as it bombarded Sun Lei, whose expression changed slightly. Yama Tactics, Yama Heavenly Wheel. Facing the wrath of God's punishment head-on, Sun Lei quickly circulated the Yama Tactics, a black wheel containing endless demonic power, as if it was condensed from 10,000 ghosts, appeared in front of him and blocked the wrath of God's punishment head-on. Boom! A thunderous explosion resounded, and the entire battle arena began to tremble. The 2 terrifying energies collided, forming a destructive force that surged in all directions like a tidal wave. Not good. Yi Qinfeng didn't expect Sun Lei to have the strength to counter the wrath of God's punishment. His expression changed drastically as he decisively detonated 200 crystal cold jade talismans, forming 2 defensive light shields around his body to block the destructive power. Kacha! Kacha! Although the 100 crystal cold jade talismans had terrifying defensive power, they still couldn't block the destructive power from the collision of the 2 energies. A large number of cracks spread on the surface of the talismans. In just 2 breaths, the 2 layers of cold jade light shield shattered. Yi Qinfeng was also sent flying by the surging impact, spitting out 2 mouthfuls of blood. Although Sun Lei had formed the Yama Heavenly Wheel to block the wrath of God's punishment, the explosion of the wrath of God's punishment was too terrifying. He was also affected. However, at the critical moment, a suit of armor flashing with lightning appeared on Sun Lei's body, protecting his entire body and neutralizing 9 layers of the impact. He only suffered light injuries. Low-grade celestial armor. Yi Qinfeng's sharp eyes pierced through the violent air and saw the armor that appeared on Sun Lei's body. His face instantly turned gloomy. He didn't expect Sun Lei to have such a strong foundation. He actually had a low-grade celestial armor. Yi Qinfeng, your strength is really beyond my expectations. You actually forced me to use my trump card, the Heavenly Thunder Battle Armor. However, the competition can end early. Sun Lei, who was covered in lightning, looked at Yi Qinfeng, who was vomiting blood and looking pale. He revealed a cruel smile. What? You think you're invincible just because you have a low-grade celestial armor. If the Chaos Divine hadn't nurtured the chaotic energy, Yi Qinfeng would have had to transform into his beast soul form and use the second move of the 7 Swords of Judgment, Thunder Devour, to kill him. But now he could continue to hide his beast soul form and his 2 trump cards, the 7 Swords of Judgment. Ha ha ha! I'd like to see how long you can be so stubborn. Sun Lei laughed arrogantly. Lightning flashed under his feet, and he instantly appeared in front of Yi Qinfeng. He fiercely swung the earth-splitting axe at Yi Qinfeng. The tidal wave of attacks completely suppressed Yi Qinfeng and forced him to dodge. It's over. The result of this competition is already decided. Yi Qinfeng can't turn the tables. Yeah, I didn't expect Sun Lei to have a low-grade celestial armor. He's worthy of being the king of the 4th level. He has such a strong foundation. Looking at the Heavenly Thunder Battle Armor on Sun Lei, the spectators no longer thought highly of Yi Qinfeng. Yi Qinfeng, don't put up a pointless struggle. You are destined to die under my axe. Sun Lei's ferocious attacks completely suppressed Yi Qinfeng. He looked arrogant and roared loudly. Not necessarily. Yi Qinfeng's pupils shrank. Seizing the sliver of opportunity that appeared in Sun Lei's complacent state, a strand of primal chaos force shot out of his body and bombarded Sun Lei's chest. As soon as the chaotic energy appeared, Sun Lei's sharp senses immediately sensed danger. But they were too close, and Sun Lei couldn't dodge. He could only watch as the chaotic energy hit the Heavenly Thunder Battle Armor. In the next moment, there was a crisp, cracking sound. The indestructible Heavenly Thunder Battle Armor was pierced through by the chaotic energy. Sun Lei's body wasn't spared either. It was pierced through like a hot knife through butter. Several meridians in his body were torn, and his heart was heavily injured. Blood flowed out from the small holes in the Heavenly Thunder Battle Armor and dripped onto the ground. It was a shocking sight. Mobile reading site. Book address. To make it easier for you to read it next time, you can click on the Save button below to record this reading. You will see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 301. As soon as one wave subsided, another rose. What? Am I seeing things? King Sun Lei's low-grade heaven artifact battle armor was pierced through by Yi Qinfeng. Heavens! What was that gray energy? How could it be so destructive? Even the heaven artifact battle armor couldn't withstand it. Witnessing the Heavenly Thunder Battle Armor being pierced through by the chaotic energy, the spectators were dumbfounded. It was as if they had seen a ghost. How is this possible? How could you pierce through my Heavenly Thunder Battle Armor? What was that gray light? Clutching his bleeding chest, Sun Lei couldn't accept the fact that his Heavenly Thunder Battle Armor was pierced through by Yi Qinfeng. He couldn't accept the fact that he was heavily injured. This is all thanks to the 10,000-year spirit milk you gave me. Without that bottle of 10,000-year spirit milk, I wouldn't have been able to condense that beam of gray light, Yi Qinfeng said deliberately as he looked at Sun Lei, whose eyes were bloodshot and had a sinister expression. Impossible. This is absolutely impossible. Sun Lei was like an injured lion. He let out an uncontrollable roar and burned his blood qi at all costs to stabilize his injuries. He wanted to make a last stand. However, the chaotic energy was too destructive. adding on the damage he had suffered from refining the demon heart crystal. He couldn't suppress it even if he burned his blood chi. Wrath of God's punishment. While Sun Le was forcefully suppressing his injuries, the green spiritual fire, ancient cold mysterious ice, and purple spiritual lightning once again surged out of Yi Qinfeng's body. They fused together to form a destructive power. Like a storm that could destroy the world, it swept toward Sun Le, whose expression changed drastically. Yama tactics, Yama heavenly wheel. Seeing the wrath of God's punishment rolling towards him, Sun Le spat out several mouthfuls of essence blood. He condensed the Yama heavenly wheel to defend against the destructive attack of the wrath of God's punishment. Boom! 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 An earth-shattering explosion rang out. Violent energy swept across the sky. Divine light shot out in all directions. With Sun Le as the center, the space around him was distorted. Although the battle stage on the 4th floor of the Tower of Slaughter was much sturdier than the 3rd floor, it was still unable to withstand the collision of the two destructive forces. The resulting energy was rampant and filled with crisscrossing cracks. The central area had even collapsed. Being at the center of the explosion, Sun Le was sent flying by the destructive storm and crashed heavily into the cracked defensive light barrier. Although Sun Le's heavenly thunder battle armor had neutralized most of the attacks, the wanton destructive storm still penetrated the gap in the heavenly thunder battle armor's chest and surged into his body, damaging his flesh and worsening his injuries. A large amount of blood spurted out uncontrollably from his mouth. Amidst the spurting blood, one could even see pieces of his internal organs. Sun Le, you have lost. Yi Qinfeng, who was covered in 2 layers of cold crystal light and had taken a sip of the water of heavenly fate, walked with heavy steps to Sun Le, who was kneeling on the ground and was heavily injured, and said emotionlessly, "No, I won't lose. I won't lose to you." Sun Le couldn't accept the fact that he had lost. Moreover, he was very clear that losing meant death. Thinking that all his efforts would become someone else's wedding dress, he was unwilling and made a final struggle. Sun Le actually lost. In the stands, Green Soul was also surprised by this result. Seeing that Sun Le was in danger, he hesitated whether to end this battle early to avoid casualties. Qi and blood power burn all of them. Sun Le clenched his bloody fists. All the blood in his body burned up. The Yama tactics circulated at high speed. The Yama's heavenly wheel, formed by 10,000 ghosts, appeared above his head again. It was so powerful that it could swallow mountains and rivers. It rushed toward Yi Qinfeng with an unstoppable momentum. Wrath of God's punishment break. Yi Qinfeng didn't dodge the incoming Yama's heavenly wheel. Instead, he quickly controlled the 3 great spirit items and fused them together to form a God's punishment power. Rumble. The space trembled as the 2 destructive forces collided, causing a small area of the chaotic space to collapse. Endless black clouds emitted a terrifying power that swept toward Yi Qinfeng and Sun Le. Form shifting shadow. Yi Qinfeng was already prepared. The moment the wrath of God's punishment collided with the Yama's heavenly wheel, he immediately used form shifting shadow to dodge with all his might. Sun Le, who was close to the defensive light shield, couldn't dodge. He could only endure the tidal wave of destructive power that bombarded his body. The wrath of God's punishment collided with the Yama's heavenly wheel. The resulting power was too terrifying. Even with the heavenly thunder battle armor, Sun Le couldn't withstand it. Moreover, the heavenly thunder battle armor had been pierced through by the power of chaos. Its defensive power was greatly reduced. The space roared and the earth trembled. Wave after wave of destructive power crashed into Sun Le's body like a tsunami, almost destroying him. When the surging energy gradually dissipated, Sun Le fell to the ground in a bloody mess. Large amounts of blood seeped out of the heavenly thunder battle armor, dyeing the severely damaged ground red. Too scary. This Yi Qinfeng is too scary. He really defeated Sun Le. The new king of the 4th floor of the Slaughter Tower has been born. Seeing Sun Lei lying in a pool of blood, the audience in the stands looked at Yi Qinfeng with awe. Sun Lei, you've lost. You can go to hell now. Yi Qinfeng's eyes flashed with murderous intent. He rushed to Sun Lei's side and wanted to use the soul-devouring spell to devour his spiritual beast and end his life. Stop, Yi Qinfeng. You can't kill him. Right at this moment, an irresistible order entered Yi Qinfeng's ears. The person in charge of the 4th floor's arena, Green Soul, condensed a pair of soul wings and turned into an afterimage in midair. He flew over at an extremely fast speed, wanting to stop Yi Qinfeng from killing Sun Lei. Yi Qinfeng never showed mercy to his enemies. Moreover, Sun Lei was an extremely dangerous enemy. Soul-devouring spell, devour. Yi Qinfeng ignored Green Soul's order and used the soul-devouring spell at high speed. A powerful devouring vortex appeared in his palm and pressed down on Sun Lei's head. As Sun Lei screamed in pain, the vortex began to devour his spiritual beast. I told you to stop. Didn't you hear me? Green Soul didn't expect Yi Qinfeng to be so bold as to disobey his order. His face turned gloomy. Rays of green light poured out of his body and gathered into a giant hand. It carried a powerful pressure and attacked Yi Qinfeng. Yi Qinfeng's body flashed and dodged to the side with the dying Sun Lei. He continued to devour his spiritual beast. Yi Qinfeng let go of Sun Lei. Otherwise, don't blame me for being impolite. Sun Lei was the king of the 4th floor chosen by the King of Slaughter, and the Sun Luo temple behind him had a close relationship with the Tower of Slaughter. Green Soul would not allow Sun Lei to be killed in front of him. Otherwise, if the Sun Luo temple were to blame him, he would not be able to escape the blame. Xiao Chen ordered as he looked at Yi Qinfeng with a cold gaze. This is a battle of life and death. Why should I spare his life? Yi Qinfeng sneered. He didn't move and continued to use the soul-devouring spell to devour Sun Lei's spiritual beast. You're courting death. Green Soul didn't expect Yi Qinfeng to be so bold as to ignore his order. He felt Sun Lei's aura getting weaker and weaker. A powerful, murderous aura exuded from his body. A glaring green light flashed in front of Yi Qinfeng. Green Soul was holding a green spear that was a low-grade heaven artifact with a poisonous snake coiled around it. He stabbed at Yi Qinfeng. Since you want him so much, I'll return him to you. After successfully devouring Sun Lei's spiritual beast, Yi Qinfeng's right hand exploded with a force of 1,000,000 pounds. He threw Sun Lei's body high into the air and smashed it against Green Soul's spear. After losing his spiritual beast, Sun Lei was already on his last breath. Now that he was hit by Green Soul's spear, his body was immediately broken, and he died on the spot. Yi Qinfeng, I won't let you go. Seeing Sun Lei die after hitting his spear, Green Soul went crazy with anger. The anger in his heart erupted like a volcano. Yi Qinfeng ignored his warning and insisted on killing Sun Lei. This completely angered him. If he couldn't teach Yi Qinfeng a lesson, his dignity would be ruined and he wouldn't be able to answer to the Sun Luo Hull. Mobile reading site. Book address. To make it easier for you to read this book next time, you can click the Save button below to record this book. You will see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 302. Breakthrough in the Battle, Thorny Spear Art. Green Soul roared, and a three-headed snake the size of a small mountain with a long forked tongue appeared on his body, boosting his strength. With a thrust of his spear, a large amount of green light shot out from the spear and turned into a destructive thorny spear. It spread in the air and completely enveloped Yi Qinfeng. 1,000,000 kilograms of strength. Break! Yi Qinfeng didn't try to dodge the densely packed thorny spear lights. Instead, he activated the double slaughter halos and infused them into the gigantic Fault Heavenly Sword. Like a hot knife through butter, the gigantic fault heavenly sword pierced through the thorny spear lights. Chi-chi! The two powerful attacks collided and created a large amount of sparks. The gigantic fault heavenly sword, which was filled with a force of 1,000,000 jin, tore through half of the thorny spear lights and could not pierce through any more. Layers of thorny spear lights continuously struck the gigantic fault heavenly sword, and the ferocious attacks forced Yi Qinfeng to retreat. The blood and qi in his body roiled violently. Green flood dragon light. After forcing Yi Qinfeng back with a single spear strike, Green Soul's attack did not slow down. His entire arm fused with the Heaven Tier spear in his hand. The incomparably sharp spear light transformed into a green flood dragon, bearing its fangs and claws as it attacked Yi Qinfeng. For Slaughter Style's savage blood, feeling that Green Soul's spear was locked onto him, Yi Qinfeng couldn't dodge. He quickly circulated the 8 Sha Azura technique to increase his attack power. At the same time, a blood-red sword light flew out of the titanic fault heavenly sword and slashed at the green flood dragon. Rumble! The blood-red light and the green light intertwined. The destructive force from the collision of the two soul skills tore the stage apart. Large amounts of rocks flew into the air. PFFF, PFFF. Under the ferocious impact, the remnant blood, sword light, shattered. Yi Qinfeng's body was struck by the torrent of energy and was sent flying like a kite with a broken string. He crashed into the defensive light barrier behind him, and a stream of blood flowed out from the corner of his mouth. Peak Class 1, Reverse Beast King. When Yi Qinfeng sensed that Green Spirit was much stronger than Sunlay's, he immediately confirmed Green Spirit's strength. His expression turned serious. Although his strength was enough to kill a Rank 1 Reverse Beast King, it was still insufficient to face a peak Rank 1 Reverse Beast King. Not to mention, Green Soul was one of the strongest peak Rank 1 Reverse Beast Kings. His strength was unfathomable. Yi Qinfeng, I advise you not to make any pointless struggles. Surrender obediently. You are not my match. Green Soul raised his heaven artifact spear and pointed it at Yi Qinfeng as he said domineeringly, "Let's talk about it after you defeat me." Yi Qinfeng took a deep breath and suppressed the injuries on his body. The ancient, cold, profound ice, green spirit fire and purple spirit lightning surged out of his body and gathered into the power of divine retribution. It distorted the space and bombarded Green Soul. Looking at the divine retribution energy that was like rolling thunder, the dark green, 3-headed snake phantom appeared on his body once again. Rolling soul power poured into the heaven artifact long spear. Extreme spear. Green Soul roared. His entire body fused with the heaven-grade long spear, forming an unstoppable long spear. It pierced through the chaotic air and pierced into the divine retribution energy with unstoppable force. Boom! 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 Divine retribution energy explode. Seeing the divine retribution energy being torn apart by Green Soul's spear, Yi Qinfeng quickly detonated the divine retribution energy. It produced a world-shaking destructive force that engulfed Green Soul. And because he couldn't dodge in time, he was sent flying by the violent destructive force, directly piercing through several layers of defensive light barriers behind him. Chi! A hole appeared in the destructive storm. Green Soul, with a pale face and blood dripping from the corner of his mouth, forcefully tore through the destructive storm and escaped. Yi Qinfeng, you have already lost. Give me your life. Green Soul wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and looked at the heavily injured Yi Qinfeng with a murderous intent. Yi Qinfeng injured him in public, completely infuriating Green Soul, causing him to have a strong killing intent towards Yi Qinfeng. Too strong. Elder Green Soul is too strong. This Yi Qinfeng is probably finished. Who asked him to not put Elder Green Soul in his eyes? He deserves to die. Many martial artists who lost their bets because of Yi Qinfeng hated him to the bone. They couldn't wait for Green Soul to kill him immediately to vent their hatred. "Want to kill me? Wait until your next life." Although Yi Qinfeng was seriously injured in the fierce battle just now, the forest thunder soul beast he devoured in his body had completely transformed into energy and merged into his body, causing his soul power to overflow. The soul power of his soul beast, the double-headed blood dragon king, had also reached its limit. Fourth class, mystic beast ancestor, breakthrough. At the critical moment, the skyrocketing soul power in Yi Qinfeng's body broke through the bottleneck and successfully broke through to the fourth class mystic beast ancestor realm. And the moment he broke through, his strength increased several times. The soul power of the double-headed blood dragon king was even more terrifying and had reached the level of a first-class defiant beast king. Breakthrough. That Yi Qinfeng actually broke through to the next realm. His luck is too heaven-defying. He actually broke through it this time. Luck, is it really luck? Why do I have a feeling that everything is under his control? The breakthrough was also calculated by him. Seeing Yi Qinfeng break through at the critical moment, the entire arena became noisy. Some people secretly cursed Yi Qinfeng's good luck, while others felt that Yi Qinfeng was more and more unfathomable. "I really didn't expect you to break through at this time, but this still can't change your fate." Green Soul's eyes flashed with killing intent. The heaven artifact spear in his hand turned into a green stream of light and pierced towards Yi Qinfeng's throat, wanting to end his life. "I'm afraid you can't kill me now." After breaking through to the next realm, Yi Qinfeng's soul power and strength had increased greatly. He was completely confident in fighting against Green Soul. Yi Qinfeng's entire body's strength erupted. He slashed out with his sword, and a meteor-like sword light mixed with a force of 500,000 kilograms collided with Green Soul's spear like a mountain. Rumble. It was as if two mountains had collided together. The wanton soul power intertwined with each other, forming an endless stream of air. After blocking Green Soul's attack with a single sword, Yi Qinfeng's heart calmed down. Perfect sword force, 500,000 kilograms of strength, and under the amplification of the two killing halos, he launched a fierce counterattack against Green Soul. For a moment, the wanton spear light and sword light reflected off each other. The impenetrable attacks covered the sky and covered the entire martial stage. Seeing the intense battle between the two, the audience in the stands felt suffocated. They didn't doubt that if they were caught in the battle, they would have no chance of surviving. They would be torn apart by the energy torrent. "Looks like I have to use the 7 Swords of Judgment." After breaking through to the next realm, Yi Qinfeng's offense was gradually on par with Green Soul. However, Green Soul's strength was too strong, and Yi Qinfeng's injuries were too severe. If this dragged on, he would still be in danger. Without a choice, Yi Qinfeng decided to use the 7 Swords of Judgment and defeat him in one fell swoop. He would then take away Sun Lei's inheritance and directly head to the 5th floor of the Slaughter Tower. Perfect sword force. Deduce the power of the great Tao. The sharp, perfect sword force gushed out of Yi Qinfeng's body, quickly deducing the power of the great Tao above his head. When the perfect sword force forcefully deduced the power of the great Tao, a bone-chilling cold air spread out of Yi Qinfeng's body, quickly converging into a cold light. 7 Swords of Judgment, extreme cold. Yi Qinfeng roared. The extreme cold sword light, filled with the power of the great Tao, shot out. It was like a cold star that had fallen to the mortal world. It froze the entire void and pierced towards Green Soul's chest. The moment Yi Qinfeng used the 7 Swords of Judgment, Green Soul immediately sensed the danger. Without hesitation, he fused with the Heaven Treasure Spear and used all his strength to defend. Boom! The chaotic void trembled as Green Soul was struck by the sword of extreme cold head-on. He felt as if his body had been sealed in ice. The sword of extreme cold was filled with the power of the great Tao. It pierced through his body, damaging his organs and meridians. Large amounts of blood spurted from his mouth as he was sent flying. I don't want to kill you. I hope you don't force me. After sending Green Soul flying, Yi Qinfeng coldly looked at Green Soul, who was vomiting blood and was heavily injured, and warned him coldly. After saying that, Yi Qinfeng ignored Green Soul's complicated expression of anger, grievance, and fear. He took off Sun Lei's heavenly thunder battle armor and took away his inheritance. He broke through the cracked defensive light shield and directly headed to the teleportation array in the battle arena. Through the teleportation array, he entered the 5th floor of the Slaughter Tower. Mobile reading website. Book address. To make it easier for you to read this book next time, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this book. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 303, Tower of Slaughter, 5th floor. I finally entered the 5th floor of the Tower of Slaughter. After passing through the transmission array and entering the 5th floor, Yi Qinfeng let out a long breath of relief. Although he had killed the king of the 4th floor, Sun Lei, and severely wounded Green Soul in front of everyone, this was a direct challenge to the Tower of Slaughter. Even so, he wasn't afraid or worried. If the Tower of Slaughter wanted to deal with him, they would have done so already. The high-level figures of the Tower of Slaughter had been patiently waiting for him. It was clear that the identity he had created was a great deterrent to them. However, Yi Qinfeng didn't lower his guard. Once the Tower of Slaughter lost their patience, they would immediately kill him. Thus, Yi Qinfeng decided that he would finish his adventure in, at most, a month and then leave the Tower of Slaughter. As he was preparing to rent a high-grade training room to heal his wounds and prepare for the auction the day after tomorrow, his status token suddenly lit up. Information about the 9-dragon jade wall appeared in his mind. Above the 5th floor of the Tower of Slaughter, every floor had a transmission array that led to the 9-dragon jade wall. But each person only had one chance to enter the 9-dragon jade wall. After obtaining information about the 9-dragon jade wall, Yi Qinfeng was filled with curiosity towards this legendary place. He was prepared to go to the 9-dragon jade wall as soon as the auction ended. That place isn't bad. As he walked, Yi Qinfeng saw a garden in front of him that didn't fit in with the surrounding scenery. In this garden was an ancient 3-story inn. He immediately walked over. "Sir, welcome to Heavenly Residence. I wonder what grade of training room would Sir like to rent?" Yi Qinfeng had just walked into the tavern, which was filled with the faint fragrance of sandalwood, when an enchanting woman wearing a jade-green floral cheongsam slowly walked over with her slender legs. Her skin was as white as snow, her teeth were like shells, and her body exuded an enchanting charm. "High-grade training room," Yi Qinfeng flatly said. "The high-grade training room costs 500 slaughter points per day. How many days does Sir plan on renting it?" The enchanting woman softly asked. "I'll rent it for 10 days first," Yi Qinfeng lightly said. He directly paid 5,000 slaughter points and rented a high-grade training room. "Young master, please follow me." After paying the slaughter points, the beautiful woman swayed her slender waist. She brought Yi Qinfeng to an elegant training room that emitted a faint orchid fragrance. "By the way, do you know of any special requirements for the auction the day after tomorrow?" After entering Jingya's room, Yi Qinfeng suddenly stopped the charming woman and inquired. "As long as a martial artist has 100,000 slaughter points, they can participate. But this auction is only for martial artists from the 5th level. Martial artists from the other levels cannot participate," the charming woman explained in detail. "Miss, can you do me a favor? I want to buy a new identity token. Do you have any way to do that?" Yi Qinfeng had learned from the jade slip given to him by the green-clothed woman that many experts would purchase identity tokens through the black market in order to participate in the auctions held on the other floors. And Yi Qinfeng, who had long since calculated, also wanted to buy one. Young master, a fake identity token is very expensive. Moreover, the current auction is just around the corner. I fear that even 10,000 slaughter points won't be enough to buy one. The charming woman awkwardly said, I'll give you 20,000 slaughter points. Can you help me buy one? Yi Qinfeng said in a rich and overbearing manner, 20,000? The charming woman's eyes brightened. She clenched her teeth and said, All right, I'll think of a way for you. Then I'll have to trouble you. Yi Qinfeng faintly smiled. Without hesitation, he gave the charming woman 20,000 slaughter points and had her help him trade for an identity token. I wonder what treasures are in Sun Lei's universe ring. Yi Qinfeng took a bath in the training room and changed into a clean set of clothes. He took out Sun Lei's universe ring and broke the spell on it, sending his soul force into it. 79,000 slaughter points, 3,000 high-grade soul crystals, 18 top-grade, earth-grade weapons, 21 high-grade, earth-grade weapons, 32 earth-grade soul pills, 13 slaughter stones, 3 true fire stones, 1 kilogram of 10,000-year-old spirit milk. And this is the top-grade heaven-class soul skill, Lightning Flash. Yi Qinfeng discovered many rare and precious items among Sun Lei's belongings. Among them, the Lightning Flash cultivation scroll was especially valuable, and he was overjoyed at this turn of events. Compared to the Lightning Flash scroll, the heavenly lightning armor Yi Qinfeng took from Sun Lei's body was even more precious. If he could repair the heavenly lightning armor, his defensive power would increase tenfold. A rank 1 Defiant Beast King wouldn't be able to break through his defenses. However, repairing the heavenly lightning armor would take at least half a month. He could only wait until after the auction to find an opportunity to repair it. Yi Qinfeng placed Sun Lei's items into his universe ring. Then he took out the remaining 3 aperture divine pellet and swallowed it. Then he cleared his mind of all distracting thoughts. While he cultivated and treated his injuries, he waited for the charming woman. Shadow, how long until the king comes out of seclusion? At the same time, the gloomy Shui Kuluo found Shadow cultivating in the darkness and asked in a low voice, At most, the king will come out in a month. The Shadow, whose entire body had merged with the darkness, slowly walked out and asked, What happened this time? It's all because of that Yi Qinfeng. I just received news that Yi Qinfeng killed Sun Lei from Dark Azura Hall despite Green Soul's obstruction. He even injured Green Soul. He clearly doesn't put our slaughter city in his eyes. Shui Kuluo gloomily said. He was very angry at Yi Qinfeng's actions. He also didn't expect Yi Qinfeng to not back down in the face of danger. Instead, he fought harder and harder. How did this Yi Qinfeng grow so fast? The black-robed figure frowned slightly as he spoke in a somewhat surprised tone. I didn't expect him to have the power to defeat a peak, first-rank Beast King so quickly. At this rate, our slaughter tower will be in chaos because of him. Shui Kuluo's eyes flashed with murderous intent as he spoke with resentment. Let him jump around for another month. I have a feeling that the king will be interested in him. Perhaps he will be an opportunity between us and Xingluo Sky City. Shadow faintly said. At night, the charming woman stepped into the darkness and returned to Yi Qinfeng's room. She gently knocked on his door and said, Young noble Yi, it's me. I'm back. After hearing her voice, Yi Qinfeng, who had recovered half of his strength, immediately opened the door and welcomed her in. How was it? Did you get an identity badge? Yi Qinfeng asked. Fortunately, I didn't let you down. I helped you get an identity badge from the black market. She took out an identity badge from her spatial pouch and handed it to Yi Qinfeng. Young noble, the night is long. Do you need me to help you rest? It was rare for the charming woman to meet such a young, handsome, and wealthy cultivator like Yi Qinfeng. She asked with a flirtatious expression as she looked at Yi Qinfeng with watery eyes. Sure. Yi Qinfeng nodded in agreement as he looked at the charming woman with a delicate face and a charming expression. Young noble, I will definitely satisfy you. The charming woman was overjoyed when Yi Qinfeng agreed. She revealed a mesmerizing smile, just as she let down her guard and was about to help Yi Qinfeng change his clothes. A powerful soul energy suddenly surged into her mind. The next moment, her soul trembled and she fell into Yi Qinfeng's arms unconscious. To avoid unnecessary trouble, I can only let you sleep for a while. Hugging the charming woman's soft body and looking at her unconscious face, Yi Qinfeng's heart did not waver at all. He picked her up by the waist and placed her on the soft bed. He continued to treat his injuries and wait for the auction to begin. Mobile reading site, book address. To make it easier for you to read it next time, you can click Save at the bottom to record this reading. You will see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 304. Gengjin stone early in the morning. Rays of gentle sunlight shone through the window, illuminating the originally dark room and awakening Yi Qinfeng from his meditative state. It's daybreak. It's time to go to the auction house. I hope this auction won't disappoint me. Yi Qinfeng stretched his body and looked at the beautiful woman lying on the soft bed. She was in a deep coma. He slowly stood up and summoned the sword puppet. He fused 5,000 high-grade soul crystals, 300,000 medium-grade soul crystals, and 10 demon crystal bones into the puppet's body, greatly increasing its strength. The reason Yi Qinfeng spent 20,000 slaughter points to buy a fake identity token was for the sword puppet. Yi Qinfeng guessed that his repeated provocations of the slaughter tower had definitely angered the upper echelons of the slaughter tower. If he wanted to obtain anything from the auction house, it would be extremely difficult. But the slaughter puppet was different. No one knew of its existence. With the slaughter puppet acting as his auctioneer, he could avoid a lot of unnecessary trouble and obtain great treasures more easily. After accumulating enough slaughter points, Yi Qinfeng's total had reached 310,000. He kept 100,000 for himself and gave the remaining 210,000 to the sword puppet. Then, the two of them left the magnificent Sky Hotel and headed towards the auction house, not too far away from the arena. Identity token. Without 100,000 slaughter points, you're not allowed to participate in the auction. When Yi Qinfeng passed through an arch bridge carved from white jade and walked towards the killing grounds, which was completely golden in color and emitted a dazzling light, a guard wearing golden armor and holding a sharp spear stopped him. Yi Qinfeng handed his identity token to the golden-armored guard. After checking it, Yi Qinfeng successfully entered the extravagantly decorated auction hall. 108 jade pillars supported the roof of the hall. Spiritual jades hung on the walls, and the interior was filled with rare and precious green plants. So many masters. After entering the auction house, Yi Qinfeng frowned. With his keen perception, he could sense at least 10 first-level Beast Kings and 2 second-level Beast Kings. As for those 2 second-level Beast Kings who were deliberately hiding their strength, it was extremely likely that they came from the other floors of the Slaughter Tower. If they took the risk to come here, it was enough to prove that there was a treasure in this auction that attracted them. That person, the blood-slaughtering Sword King. Yi Qinfeng sat in a distant corner, secretly observing the defiant Beast Kings around the auction house. Among them, there was a man sitting in the first row. He wore a dark red robe, had black hair, sword-like eyebrows, and had a clear scar at the corner of his eye. His body emitted a sharp sword aura that attracted Yi Qinfeng's attention. And this man was the blood-slaughtering Sword King of the Slaughter Tower's 5th level. As time passed, the luxurious auction house was gradually filled with people. The sword spirit puppet, who wore a black robe and had a solemn expression, also arrived at the main venue and sat near the exit. After another incense stick of time, the 10-meter-tall golden door carved with coiling dragons slowly closed. Several thousand moonlight stones emitted a blinding white light, illuminating the auction house as if it were daytime. In the next moment, a tall and slender woman wearing a white floral silk dress appeared. Her figure was curvaceous, and her skin was as smooth as mutton fat. Her every movement exuded a seductive charm as she slowly ascended the black auction stage. I didn't think that the Slaughter Tower would be able to find such a peerless beauty to be its auctioneer. It seems that those who can't resist her charm will have to pay a heavy price. Looking at this peerless beauty, Yi Chen-feng couldn't help but sigh with emotion at the methods of the Slaughter Tower. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my Slaughter Tower's 5th level auction. I am the auctioneer for this auction. You can call me Hua Ing or Ing. For this auction, my Slaughter Tower has prepared a total of 100 rare treasures for everyone. Each of them is a first-rate treasure that will definitely satisfy everyone. All right, I won't waste everyone's precious time. The first treasure is a matured spirit item called the Ghost Face Crying Heart Fruit. It has a powerful body-tempering ability. The starting price is 100 slaughter points. Everyone, you may begin bidding. As she spoke, Huang took out a jade box sealed with a large number of array patterns from her yin and yang ring. When she broke open the array pattern restriction, a hair-raising ghost cry sounded out from the jade box. The Ghost Face Crying Heart Fruit. I didn't think that such a first-rate spirit item would be the first item to be auctioned. I really don't know how rare and precious the treasures after will be. Yi Chen-feng had once obtained 2 Ghost Face Crying Heart Fruits. Back in the true spirit realm, he had relied on the Ghost Face Crying Heart Fruit to temper his body to pass the test. 10,000 slaughter points. The price of the Ghost Face Crying Heart Fruit continued to rise. When it reached 5,000 slaughter points, Yi Chen-feng suddenly shouted out a bid, doubling the price of the Ghost Face Crying Heart Fruit. However, 10,000 slaughter points had completely exceeded the value of the Ghost Face Crying Heart Fruit. Many people had no choice but to give up. However, there were still many people who had developed a strong interest in the Ghost Face Crying Heart Fruit. They continued to raise the price regardless of the price. Seeing the price of the Ghost Face Crying Heart Fruit exceed his expectations, Yi Chen-feng hesitated for a moment before giving up. Finally, the Ghost Face Crying Heart Fruit was bought by a burly level 6 profound beast sect master who cultivated both soul and body at a price of 12,000 slaughter points. The transaction was completed on the spot. After the Ghost Face Crying Heart Fruit, Hua Ing took out level 3 Heavenly Beast Monster Cores, water mist spirit flowers that contained powerful spirituality and other rare treasures to bid on. The atmosphere of the auction became even more heated. I really don't know where this Slaughter Tower found so many rare treasures to auction. Yi Chen-feng discovered that the treasures auctioned off by the Slaughter Tower were all top-quality treasures. Many of them even moved his heart. However, there was no lack of rich people in the auction house. With his limited slaughter points, Yi Chen-feng bid several times in a row and returned without success. He wasn't able to obtain a single treasure. Mother asterisk cur, where did that boy come from? He actually dared to bid against me and made me spend an extra 8,000 slaughter points. A silver-haired old man who had spent 31,000 slaughter points to bid for a top-quality Earth Tier Heart Guard mirror glared at Yi Chen-feng in the corner, gnashing his teeth as he spoke. I don't know. That boy looks a bit unfamiliar. He seems to have just arrived at the 5th level of the Slaughter Tower. A middle-aged man beside the silver-haired old man said in a low voice, Mother asterisk cur, once the auction is over, I will not forgive him. I will personally twist his head in the martial arena. The silver-haired old man angrily vowed, My auction house has prepared the 10th treasure for everyone. It is a piece of 7th metal stone that can increase the quality of a heavenly artifact. The starting price is 100 slaughter points. Everyone may place their bids. Hua Ying gently raised her small white hand, pinching an egg-sized stone that emitted a dark golden light as she introduced it in detail. 7th metal stone. Yi Qinfeng wanted to repair the heavenly thunder battle armor, so he needed the 7th metal stone as a refining material. He quickly ordered the sword puppet to bid for the 7th metal stone at all costs. Yi Qinfeng developed a deep interest in the 7th metal stone. Several reverse beast kings also developed a deep interest in the 7th metal stone. They all increased the bid, and soon the price of the 7th metal stone reached 50,000 slaughter points. 80,000 slaughter points. At this time the sword puppet spoke, its icy cold voice causing everyone's body to inexplicably tremble. 90,000 slaughter points. A peerless king didn't give up and continued to bid. 90,000 slaughter points had already surpassed the price of the 7th metal stone. After all, the 7th metal stone could only increase the quality of a heavenly artifact. Without a heavenly artifact, the 7th metal stone was useless. 100,000 slaughter points. The sword puppet continued to bid without emotion. After bid, the peerless king hesitated again and again before finally giving up on competing with the sword puppet. I finally got the 7th metal stone. Seeing the sword puppet complete the transaction with a green dress maid and obtain the 7th metal stone, Yi Qinfeng revealed a faint smile. Black turtle king shell, more than 20 slaughter stones, 3 true fire stones, the 7th metal stone, and a large number of materials for condensing array patterns. Yi Qinfeng felt that if he was lucky, he might be able to upgrade the heavenly thunder battle armor to a mid-grade heavenly artifact. Just as he was secretly pleasantly surprised, Hua Ying took out a blood-red spirit object from her universe ring. It had slender, serrated leaves and was exuding a dense soul force. His eyes immediately lit up and he became excited. Mobile reading site. Book address. In order to facilitate your next reading, you can click on the Collect button below to record this reading record. You will see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 305. The Blood-Slaughtering Sword King, Sanguine Soul Grass. This auction really has sanguine soul grass. Looking at the blood-red grass between Hua Ying's slender fingers, Yi Qinfeng could not help but get excited. If he could get this sanguine soul grass, he would be able to gather all the spiritual materials needed to refine the marrow cleansing pill. Once he refined the marrow cleansing pill, he would have the opportunity to cultivate the marrow refining realm to the Deshang level, and his physical strength would completely surpass a level for heavenly beast. I must get this sanguine soul grass. Yi Qinfeng secretly made up his mind and ordered the sword puppet to bid for the sanguine soul grass at all costs. 10,000, 20,000, 30,000. Although the sanguine soul grass was only the 11th item in this auction, it was extremely rare and had attracted a lot of people to bid for it. Why is this sanguine soul grass so popular? Yi Qinfeng listened to the bids that kept echoing in his ears and frowned tightly. He did not expect the sanguine soul grass to be so popular, instantly rising to 80,000 slaughter points. 100,000 slaughter points. Under Yi Qinfeng's instructions, the sword puppet made a bid. The sword puppet bid for the 7th metal stone, and the remaining slaughter points were only 110,000. If someone continued to increase the price, he could only give up the bid. No matter who bid for the sanguine soul grass, wait for my challenge. Yi Qinfeng's eyes flashed with a fierce look. He would not allow the sanguine soul grass to be lost in front of his eyes. 120,000 slaughter points. A man wearing a dark blue robe with cloud patterns, a golden crown on his head, and a jade fan in his hand, whose strength had reached the level 1 Defiant Beast King realm, made a bid. 120,000 slaughter points. Is there anyone who wants to continue to bid? Hua Ying gently flipped a strand of long hair hanging down and asked in a pleasant voice. Her enchanting voice constantly stirred the little hearts of everyone. However, 12 slaughter points was already a high price. Hua Ying waited for more than 10 breaths and found that no one continued to bid. She softly announced, "Since there is no one else, then this sanguine soul grass is Ice Fan King's. Congratulations, Ice Fan King. Once the auction is over, I will definitely challenge you." Yi Qinfeng looked coldly at the Ice Fan King, who was in a good mood and had won the bid for the sanguine soul grass. After the sanguine soul grass, Hua Ying successively took out precious and rare fays to bid. As the auction prices continued to refresh, the atmosphere in the entire auction house became increasingly heated. During this time, Yi Qinfeng and the sword puppet bid one after another. With 80,000 slaughter points and 68,000 slaughter points, respectively, they obtained a bottle of Heavenstone jade as well as several hundred mysterious insect eggs. But because his slaughter points were limited, Yi Qinfeng also missed out on many things that moved his heart. This made him feel quite regretful, as one rare and precious item after another landed in the hands of the various clans. The auction that had lasted for nearly a day was nearing its end, and the highlight of the auction was revealed one after another. This 97th treasure is a heaven-class soul pill, the Jade Essence Heavenly Pill, that my Slaughter City's great elder unexpectedly obtained in the North Sea ancient lands. The starting price is 10,000 slaughter points. Hua Ying took out a transparent jade box from her universe ring. When she broke the array pattern restriction on the jade box's surface, a refreshing medicinal fragrance wafted out, making one feel invigorated just by smelling it. Jade Essence Heavenly Pill, a supreme grade heaven-class soul pill. Looking at the Longan-sized milky white pill covered with pill patterns in the jade box, Yi Qinfeng's eyes lit up. The medicinal efficacy of the Jade Essence Heavenly Pill far exceeded that of the 3-aperture Heavenly Pill. If he could obtain it, it would greatly increase his strength, and he would even have a chance to break through to the 5th grade Mystic Beast Ancestor Realm. However, he did not have many slaughter points left, so he could only watch as others fought over it. Jade Essence Heavenly Pill, there is finally something that interests me. Sitting in the first row, the blood-slaughtering sword monarch, who had not bid until now, revealed a faint smile. He had a strong interest in the Jade Essence Heavenly Pill. Not only was the blood-slaughtering sword monarch interested in the Jade Essence Heavenly Pill, but the 2 suspected 2nd-grade beast monarchs from the other floors of the slaughter tower, as well as a dozen other beast monarchs, were also interested in the Jade Essence Heavenly Pill. They all bid, and soon the price of the Jade Essence Heavenly Pill rose to 200,000 slaughter points. Sigh, why do these people have so many slaughter points? I killed Lion Fire and Sunlay, but why do they have so few slaughter points? Seeing that the price of the Jade Essence Heavenly Pill had risen to 330,000 slaughter points, Yi Qinfeng sighed softly and muttered in his heart, 400,000 slaughter points. As the price of the Jade Essence Heavenly Pill rose, the blood-slaughtering sword monarch, who was sitting calmly on a soft leather chair, called out the highest price of the day, shocking the 2 2nd-grade beast monarchs. Although the Jade Essence Heavenly Pill was rare and precious, 400,000 slaughter points had already exceeded its actual value. Moreover, there were 3 rarer items after that. After hesitating for a while, the 2 wealthy 2nd-grade beast monarchs gave up and let the Jade Essence Heavenly Pill go to the blood-slaughtering sword monarch. Bid with all your might. Perhaps in the end, all your efforts will become my wedding dress. Yi Qinfeng looked at the blood-slaughtering sword monarch's proud back from afar, his eyes flashing with a strong fighting spirit. He felt that if he could kill the blood-slaughtering sword monarch early, he might be able to get the Jade Essence Heavenly Pill back. Thank you, blood-slaughtering sword monarch. Hua Ying looked at the blood-slaughtering sword monarch, who had paid 400,000 slaughter points for the jade essence, heavenly pill. She revealed a charming smile, and her soft voice made people restless. All right, let's not waste any more time. Hurry up and show us the next few treasures. The second-grade beast monarch in white was in a bad mood after failing to bid for the jade essence, heavenly pill. He urged impatiently, "The 98th treasure that my slaughter tower has prepared for everyone is a ball of bone-melting spiritual thunder." Hua Ying smiled the white-robed man and took out a porcelain jar sealed with dozens of array formations from her yin and yang ring. A series of thunderous roars rang out from the porcelain jar. This ancient spiritual thunder is close to the level of sky lightning. I don't need to introduce its destructive power. The starting price is 10,000 slaughter points. Everyone may start bidding, Hua Ying announced softly. Ancient spiritual thunder? The slaughter tower is actually auctioning such a spiritual item? Yi Qinfeng was shocked to learn that the 98th auction item was the ancient spiritual thunder, which was comparable to sky lightning. He was shocked that the slaughter tower was actually auctioning such a treasure. 500,000 slaughter points. Just as Hua Ying's voice fell, the calm blood-slaughtering sword monarch, who was sitting in the first row, made his bid. Whoosh, hearing the blood-slaughtering sword monarch's bid. The entire auction house was in an uproar. Pairs of shocked eyes focused on him. Where did this blood-slaughtering sword monarch come from? Why does he have so many slaughter points? Just then, the blood-slaughtering sword king had spent 400,000 slaughter points to purchase the jade marrow heavenly pill. Now he had suddenly thrown out a sky-high price of 500,000 slaughter points. This made Yi Qinfeng feel that this person's identity was not simple at all. 500,000 slaughter points. Is there anyone who wants to increase the price? Hua Ying was also shocked by the blood-slaughtering sword monarch's bid and asked. Although the two-level two-beast monarchs were rich, they did not have that many slaughter points. They could only grit their teeth and swallow it, unable to compete with the blood-slaughtering sword monarch. Hua Ying waited for more than 10 breaths of time. When she saw the blood-slaughtering sword monarch's astronomical bid, she finally announced that the ancient spiritual thunder was won by the blood-slaughtering sword monarch. After winning 2 treasures in a row, the blood-slaughtering sword monarch became the focus of attention. The two-level two-beast monarchs looked at him with vicious eyes. However, the blood-slaughtering sword monarch's expression did not change. He sat in his chair calmly, waiting for the penultimate treasure. Mobile reading website. Book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the Save button below to record this reading record. You will see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 306. What's this? When Yi Qinfeng saw Hua Ying take out an ordinary stone inscription the size of a palm from her universe ring, he revealed a curious expression. It was dull, plain and dull. Not only did Yi Qinfeng not see the origin of this stone inscription, but the others also couldn't see its origin. This stone inscription was placed in my slaughter tower by a rank 7 holy land of the Xingluo continent. They want us to auction it on their behalf. It's suspected to be a sword Dao stone inscription. Looking at everyone's surprised eyes, Hua Ying's seductive red lips curled up slightly, revealing a charming smile as she introduced it softly. Sword Dao stone inscription. After learning about the origin of this stone inscription, Yi Qinfeng's eyes immediately lit up with passion. Sword Dao was above sword momentum, and those who comprehended Sword Dao were undoubtedly amazing people. If he could comprehend Sword Dao, his attack power would greatly increase, and the power of the 7 swords of judgment would increase exponentially. Are you sure this stone inscription contains Sword Dao? The blood-slaughtering sword monarch frowned slightly as he looked at the stone inscription in Hua Ying's hand and asked in a low voice. Hua Ying shook her head and said in a tactful voice, "I'm not completely sure, but if you're interested, you can bid for it and go back to study it. Maybe there will be unexpected gains." "Well, I'll take this sword Dao stone inscription." The blood-slaughtering sword monarch pondered for a moment before saying, 500,000 slaughter points. What? Did I hear wrong? He still has 500,000 slaughter points. Hearing the blood-slaughtering sword monarch's heroic bid, everyone present was stunned. The two angry, rank, two defiant beast kings were even more incredulous. They were well aware of how difficult it was to obtain slaughter points. They had fought in the Tower of Slaughter for nearly 10 years and had only accumulated 400,000 slaughter points in total. But the blood-slaughtering Sword King had tossed out one for million slaughter points in a single go without even batting an eyelid. Is this blood-slaughtering sword monarch related to the King of Massacre? Yi Qinfeng, who was sitting in a remote corner, looked at the blood-slaughtering sword monarch with flickering eyes and guessed his identity. However, this did not shake Yi Qinfeng's determination to kill the blood-slaughtering sword monarch. Since he had agreed to take revenge for eternal hatred, Yi Qinfeng would not shrink back, let alone go back on his word. But he knew that once he killed the blood-slaughtering sword monarch, he would not be able to stay in the slaughter tower. He had to leave as soon as possible, or else his life would be in danger. 500,000 slaughter points. Is there anyone who wants to continue bidding? Hua Ying glanced at the indifferent blood-slaughtering sword king, who was neither happy nor sad, calmed her shocked heart, and asked softly, 600,000 slaughter points. Just as the entire auction house was terrifyingly silent and everyone had given up on competing with the rich and overbearing blood-slaughtering sword king, the sword spirit puppet sitting at the entrance suddenly opened its mouth to bid under Yi Qinfeng's instructions. As soon as the sword spirit puppet finished speaking, the blood-slaughtering sword monarch frowned. He turned his head and looked at the cold and unfamiliar sword spirit puppet as if he wanted to see through it. Who is that person? Why haven't I seen him before? I don't know. He should have just arrived at the 5th floor of the slaughter tower. He just arrived at the 5th floor of the slaughter tower and already has so many slaughter points. How did he earn so much? Not only did the blood-slaughtering sword monarch cast a doubtful look at the sword puppet, but the experts in the auction house were also attracted by the sword puppet's bid. Interesting. 700,000 slaughter points. The blood-slaughtering sword monarch revealed a meaningful smile, then slowly withdrew his gaze and continued to bid. 800,000 slaughter points. The sword puppet bid even faster than the blood-slaughtering sword monarch, and it was just as bold as the sword monarch. 1,000,000 slaughter points. The blood-slaughtering sword monarch hesitated, but he was indeed very interested in this suspected sword Dao stone and directly raised the bid to 1,000,000. Once the price of 1,000,000 was announced, the entire auction house went into an uproar. They could not imagine that the blood-slaughtering sword monarch would have so many slaughter points. When the blood-slaughtering sword monarch raised the bid to 1,000,000, the sword puppet remained silent under Yi Qinfeng's instructions. Finally, the sword Dao stone was won by the blood-slaughtering sword monarch. The blood-slaughtering sword monarch's boldness has really opened Er's eyes. When Hua Ying saw the blood-slaughtering sword monarch pay 1,000,000 slaughter points to buy the sword Dao stone inscription without any change in expression, she revealed a charming smile like a blooming flower and spoke in a pleasant voice. Although Hua Ying had presided over several auctions, she had never seen someone like the blood-slaughtering sword monarch who was so rich that he regarded slaughter points as dirt. Hurry up and take out the last treasure. Don't let everyone wait. The blood-slaughtering sword monarch revealed a rare smile and urged. He shouldn't have any more slaughter points, right? Looking at his calm appearance, it's very possible. Damn, it's really infuriating to compare with others. I really don't know how he got his slaughter points. Hearing that the blood-slaughtering sword monarch had spent 1,900,000 slaughter points and still wanted to compete for the last treasure, many people cursed in their hearts. The last treasure that my slaughter tower has prepared for everyone is an ancient egg that a senior obtained in the ancient land of the North Sea. This ancient egg is suspected to be the egg of an ancient monster beast. As she spoke, Hua Ying took out an ancient egg the size of a wash basin from her spatial ring. Its surface was covered with totem-like patterns and had no trace of life fluctuations. The egg of an ancient monster beast. The ancient land of the North Sea actually has such a strange treasure. Yi Qinfeng looked at the ancient egg in Hua Ying's hand with a strong interest in his heart. Although this ancient egg no longer had any aura of life and could not hatch a powerful monster beast, if this ancient egg was really born in ancient times, its value would absolutely surpass all the treasures auctioned today. Once he broke through to the 6th level of the mystic beast ancestor realm and absorbed the essence contained within, he could directly break through the bottleneck and break through to the king realm. 200,000 slaughter points. 300,000 slaughter points for 100,000 slaughter points. Looking at the ancient monster beast egg in Hua Ying's hand, the defiant beast kings went crazy and increased the price one after another. They all wanted to bid for the most valuable ancient egg and take it for themselves. 1,000,000 slaughter points. The blood-slaughtering sword monarch's deep eyes shot out rays of light as he once again bid a sky-high price. What? He still has 1,000,000 slaughter points. Did I hear wrong? Heavens, where did this blood-slaughtering sword monarch come from? Could it be that his slaughter points are inexhaustible? Hearing the blood-slaughtering sword monarch's bid, almost everyone present was stunned. 2,000,000 slaughter points. Just as everyone was shocked by the blood-slaughtering sword monarch's bid, the sword puppet opened its mouth and directly doubled the blood-slaughtering sword monarch's bid, shocking the entire auction house once again. The blood-slaughtering sword monarch's brows tightly knitted together as he looked at the indifferent sword puppet, and his face gradually turned gloomy. The slaughter points on him were not infinite. After consecutively bidding for the jade essence, heavenly pill, ancient spiritual lightning, and sword Tao stone inscriptions, he still had 2,300,000 slaughter points left. And judging from the sword puppet's calm expression, it probably had more than 2,000,000 slaughter points, which made the blood-slaughtering sword monarch feel troubled. 2,000,000 slaughter points, sword monarch. I wonder if you will continue to bid. Hua Ying immediately cast an ambiguous look at the sword puppet and then looked at the gloomy blood-slaughtering sword monarch and asked softly, 2,300,000 slaughter points. The blood-slaughtering sword monarch took a deep breath and bid his limit, and then cast a warning look at the sword puppet. 3,000,000 slaughter points. The sword puppet ignored the warning look of the blood-slaughtering sword monarch and bid a shocking price. As soon as this price came out, its limelight completely overshadowed the blood-slaughtering sword monarch and became the absolute focus. Good. The blood-slaughtering sword monarch never dreamed that he, who had nearly 5,000,000 slaughter points, would lose. His eyes were filled with killing intent as he looked at the sword puppet. Not only did the blood-slaughtering sword monarch want to kill the sword puppet, but the 2 second-level reverse beast kings also wanted to kill the sword puppet and obtain the ancient egg. 3,000,000 slaughter points. Is there anyone else who wants to bid higher? Hua Ying was also shocked by the sword puppet's bid. She looked at him deeply and had a strong curiosity about his identity. Since no one wants to bid higher, then I announce that the last ancient egg will be won by this friend. After waiting for more than a minute, Hua Ying saw that no one else was bidding and announced in public. After saying this, the tall and charming Hua Ying walked down the auction stage. She moved her slender legs, bringing a refreshing fragrance with her as she walked in front of the sword spirit puppet. She personally completed the final transaction with him. Can you let me take a look at the ancient egg first? The sword puppet looked at Hua Ying expressionlessly and said in a cold voice, "Of course." In Hua Ying's opinion, no one dared to challenge the might of the Tower of Slaughter. Without much thought, she happily handed the giant ancient egg to the sword puppet. But the next moment, the sword puppet directly put the ancient egg into the universe ring. Under Hua Ying's dreamy gaze, it suddenly fled out of the auction house. Hua Ying was not the only one who was stunned by the sword puppet's actions. Everyone present was stunned, and the atmosphere instantly froze. Mobile reading site, book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the Save button below to record this reading record. You will see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 307, Breaking Out of the Encirclement and Escaping Break. The sword puppet roared as a supreme grade, earth-grade spear appeared in its hand. It then pierced the 10-meter-tall golden door like a hot knife through butter. Rumble. With a deafening explosion, the sword puppet blasted the golden door apart and fled from the slaughter tower at an extremely fast speed. Where do you think you're going? Hua Ying, who came back to her senses, screamed and immediately ordered her people to chase after the sword puppet. She couldn't believe that someone would dare to snatch the ancient egg in public. If the sword puppet really did snatch the ancient egg, the slaughter tower would definitely be humiliated, and she couldn't bear the consequences. The blood-slaughtering sword monarch was also enraged by this scene. He didn't expect that the sword puppet was bluffing and that its goal was to snatch the ancient egg. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. A series of ear-piercing sounds rang out as the blood-slaughtering sword monarch, the 2-second-level reverse beast monarchs, and the others fused with their spiritual beasts, raising their speed to the peak as they chased after the sword puppet. They wanted to kill it and snatch the ancient egg from it. Go to hell! The blood-slaughtering sword monarch displayed astonishing speed as he turned into an afterimage in the air and was the first to catch up to the sword puppet. A blood-red sword aura flew out of his body, cutting through layers of air and slashing at the sword puppet at a speed that was hard to see with the naked eye. Facing the blood-slaughtering sword monarch's attack, the sword puppet remained unmoved. It allowed the incomparably sharp, blood-red sword aura to strike its body as it fled toward the arena with all its strength. It wanted to leave the slaughter tower through the teleportation array in the arena and escape from Slaughter City. It wanted to find a chance to meet up with Yi Qinfeng outside. What a powerful defense! The blood-slaughtering sword monarch was confident in his offensive power. A full-strength sword attack was enough to split the body of an ordinary, peerless beast monarch. However, when the sharp sword aura struck the sword puppet, it didn't cause any damage to the sword puppet. Not even a drop of blood flowed out, which made him look like he had seen a ghost. Slaughter the corpses for 10,000 miles. Seeing that the sword puppet had escaped into the arena, the blood-slaying sword sovereign, whose countenance was extremely grim, performed his killing move. His entire body turned into a stream of bloodlight, dyeing the entire space red. It was as if a tsunami of red sand was gushing out toward the sword puppet. Rumble. Ear-piercing explosions rang out as the blood-slaughtering Sword King's corpse, slaughtering 10,000 miles, slammed into the sword puppet, setting off endless waves. The terrifying explosion engulfed the sword puppet, and the unbridled surge of energy cracked the earth. The endless wind and sand were swept up into the sky. What a terrifying attack! This blood-slaughtering Sword King's attack power is even more terrifying than ours. When the 2 Defiant Beast Kings saw the might of the blood-slaughtering Sword King's technique, their expressions changed as they felt a sense of defeat. Just as everyone thought that the sword puppet would be heavily injured, even if it didn't die from the blood-slaughtering Sword King's all-out attack, the sword puppet broke through the annihilation storm without slowing down and entered the arena. What? Nothing? Is that guy's body made of iron? How can he be completely fine? Could it be that he's wearing a high-grade, heaven-grade battle armor? Or is he not human at all? Seeing the unscathed sword puppet rush into the arena, the experts in hot pursuit were flabbergasted. They couldn't believe what they were seeing. Where do you think you're going? The blood-slaughtering Sword King felt extremely humiliated and enraged that his attacks had been neutralized by the sword puppet's body. With a roar, he quickly took out a black polygon stone from his yin-yang ring and threw it at the sword puppet. Rumble. When the black polygon stone hit the sword puppet, it immediately exploded, releasing endless destructive energy that engulfed the sword puppet and shook the entire arena. The black polygon stone's power was enough to heavily injure a peerless king, but the sword puppet's body was too sturdy. It ignored the explosion of the black polygon stone and tore apart the destructive energy with a single spear strike as it fled toward the teleportation array. Impossible. This is absolutely impossible. How can his defense be invincible? The blood-slaughtering Sword King discovered that the black polygon stone couldn't harm the sword puppet at all. He looked as if he had seen a ghost, and his pursuit slowed down slightly. Get lost. Enduring the blood-slaughtering Sword King's ferocious attacks, the sword puppet appeared outside the teleportation array. With a roar, it forced back the experts guarding the teleportation array and directly activated it, disappearing from the chaotic 5th floor of the Slaughter Tower. Seeing the sword puppet teleport away, the blood-slaughtering Sword King and the others all entered the teleportation array and chased after the sword puppet. At the same time, Shwek Kuluo learned of what had happened on the 5th floor of the Slaughter Tower. What? Someone openly stole the most precious ancient egg of the 5th floor's auction? Shwek Kuluo raised an eyebrow in disbelief. With a gloomy expression, he asked, just who is so bold? Did the blood-slaughtering Sword King and the others catch that person? That person's identity token seems to be fake. We can't find out who he really is right now. However, that person's defense is terrifying. The blood-slaughtering Sword King's attacks don't seem to be able to harm him. The middle-aged man in charge of collecting information from the Slaughter Tower reported, "Pass down my orders. Dispatch all the Beast King experts of the Slaughter Tower. We can't let him escape." Shwek Kuluo said angrily, "When we capture him, I want to see who he is. How dare he provoke our Slaughter City in public?" Receiving Shwek Kuluo's order, all the Beast Kings of the Slaughter Tower moved out. They all came to the inner city of Slaughter City to stop the sword puppet and capture him. Surrounded by dozens of Beast Kings, the sword puppet's speed was greatly affected. Its energy was also rapidly depleting. Fortunately, Yi Qinfeng had fused enough energy into its body to withstand the tidal wave of attacks. The sword puppet's defense was invincible. It kept tearing through the attacks and continued to break through. Motherf asterisk Kerr. Who the hell is this guy? Such terrifying attacks could even kill a level 6 Beast King, but he's completely fine. The blood-slaughtering Sword Monarch and the others grew more and more alarmed as they watched the sword spirit puppet, which had not lost a single drop of blood from its body despite its all-out effort to break through the encirclement. Break! Resisting the attacks coming from all directions, the sword puppet appeared at the gate of the inner city of Slaughter City. It thrust its spear with all its strength and blasted a hole in the impregnable gate. Then it charged out. Not good, Grand Elder. That person forced his way out of the inner city of Slaughter City under the attacks of dozens of Beast Kings. He's escaping to the harbor. Shwek Kuluo was the first to hear the news when the sword puppet broke through the encirclement and made it to the outer city of Slaughter City. What? So many Beast Kings, and you can't stop a single person? What the hell are you doing? Shwek Kuluo was furious. Grand Elder, that person's defense is too terrifying. Our attacks can't harm him at all. No matter what, we can't let him escape. Otherwise, I'll punish you severely. Shwek had no doubt that if the sword puppet broke through the encirclement, Slaughter City would become a laughingstock and lose all face. Sword puppet, burn your energy and break through with all your strength. Yi Chen-fong sensed the sword puppet breaking through the encirclement and approaching the harbor through the connection between him and the puppet. He immediately gave the order. Upon receiving Yi Chen-feng's order, the sword puppet immediately burned the energy in its body and burst out with astonishing strength. It withstood round after round of fierce attacks and rushed toward the harbor. About half an hour later, the invincible sword spirit puppet successfully broke through the fierce pursuit of dozens of reverse beast kings. Under the unwilling gazes of blood-slaughtering Sword King and the others, it jumped into the blue sea and disappeared. Mobile reading website. Book address. To make it easier for you to read this book next time, you can click Save at the bottom to record this book. You will see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support.